Hello, chatters. It has been the longest 7 days of my life waiting for episode 3. Good God. That seems to be the general sentiment in the community, is that waiting for this episode really sucked. It felt like it took so long. And yes, as you have noticed, we have got the HD upgrade for the dog. And now I'm sure some of you have already noticed, yes, today's gonna be a big stream. You guys already know, I'm sure, Jordan will be joining us. It'll be very exciting. Hello everyone, hello everyone. Subaru karate through Anastasia. When I first saw that, oh my god, man. I was literally like, so stun-locked by literally like tossing her over his shoulder. It was so crazy, man. I watched the episode and like dude, oh my god. It was so crazy. I had my hands on my head and everything, dude. It was so fucked up. They did a fantastic job. I'm gonna pop my own ult making a coffee. That's true, chat. This is the first stream where I have my ult popped. That's huge, dude. New avatar? Yeah, dude. The dog got caper-fied. Looks so much fucking better, it's unreal. The voice acting was so fucking immaculate, dude. Dude, I don't know who Anna's VA is. She was going off in the booth. It was so good. Really, I like everything about this episode. I have my criticisms of the centaur portion, but like, you know, the rest of it was fucking phenomenal. Anna clinging to Subaru, screaming, literally made me feel sick. It was so fucking visceral. It was so powerful. I thought the centaur fight was longer. It was. It was a lot longer, yeah. It was cut down significantly. I mean, unfortunately, when you're fitting it into 19 episodes, you have to make some concessions, right? Was the miasma the reason why Siri was quoting Floyd? Yeah, sure. Were the Centaur coins web novel only? No, that's in the light novel. Subaru burning to death was also cut? No. I have gotten so many comments about the Centaur death being cut. I understand. A lot of you guys probably have never even peeped the light novel, which is fair, because it's not particularly accessible in English. And some people don't want to, like, torture themselves reading yen press translations. The Centaur death was not cut from the anime, it was cut from the light novel. So that death only happens in the web novel. That's the end of volume 21, right? Not quite, no. There's just a little bit more to go. I'm mad that the copyright exists because we got the Kurapika reference cut. That was also caught in the light novel, but yeah. They also changed it from... It's different in every continuity. Let's go me being morally bankrupted and reading the LNs because I'd rather not read the rough draft. Does that make you morally bankrupt? What the hell? Where's Hamil? This is clickbait. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's the elephant in the room, huh? Hamil will be on stream at some point. I don't know exactly when. I don't imagine it'll take too long. Where's Jordan? This is clickbait. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Supporting Yen Press? Oh, that's right. You're right. I mean, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Someone has already, so quickly, so angrily, gone to Ice's tweet to say, will he tell Hamil how much he hated ReZero Season 3 and that he even said Garfield vs. Kurgan or all the action scenes were bad to him? Hamil already knows, bro. Apparently he's been watching the whole fucking time. So, he already knows, dude. And he's still coming on, so what can you do, man? Hello, Pyro. How's stream while ult is popped, by the way? To be fair, my ult is kind of worn off because I popped it at 6 in the morning to make the episode video, so my ult is not particularly powerful at the moment. Has anyone told you that you and Moist Critical sound familiar? No, this is the first I'm hearing of this. Oh my god, chat's moving too fast. Hang on. Always cool to see animators like Hamil really enjoying the story itself to the point of engaging with the community. I agree. It is awesome that he is coming on. Who is Hamil? He is the main animator of Season 3 and 4. He's coming on to publicly execute you for those Season 3 streams. I welcome him with open arms, if he would like to. He is free to execute whoever he pleases. When can I start glazing? You are free to glaze, man. The episode is glaze worthy. Like I said, if people are curious, there are things I don't like about the episode. I have it as a 9 though. Like, it's not a big deal. The centaur section is just kind of rough. But again, you have to understand that there are concessions that have to be made for what they're doing. Yeah, Ice, I'm assuming you're listening right now. It's the chat's anime only. We used to do, like, source material time after the stream kind of died out, but, like, I got shit going on, dude. I can't sit here for, like, 5 hours. Please don't execute Sensei. Jordan would never get executed. Jordan is such a kind soul. Jordan wouldn't miss out on a Hamlet talk? No. He's on his way, don't worry. Did Subaru even figure out that it uses echolocation? I mean, it's the anime, so like maybe he knows, but it wasn't stated, I don't know. Did Hamil draw Anastasia's lower half tap dancing? I have no idea. I don't have the animator eyes. I have no idea how to determine who did what. Well, that's what all the dorks in chat are for, okay? The only cut you mentioned in the video that I'm really sad about is us missing out of Patrochet coming in with a save. That's the only one? The cut that I'm sad about is Subaru not answering Ram's question after he loops for the miasma loop. And I've already seen people, like, I checked the R anime thread on the episode, just to, like, I like to see what people are talking about, like, the anime onlys. And they were like, oh, he must have meant to have grabbed Rem instead of Ram, and that's why he was so angry. It's like, oof. That hurts. That's a painful interpretation, but I don't blame them because I don't have anything else to work with. So. I really like the episode. Is this high going to be touched again in Season 4? I hope so, man. This episode was fucking fantastic. As an anime only, who would think that? Apparently, at least 2 people that I saw. Plus however many upvoted them, probably like 15 or something. I really want to know who the fuck did the Anastasia cut. I like your little your little slash through it. That's funny. What is happening? This used to be a Doomer stream. Season 4 is good. I gotta say, man, enjoying the season is so much easier than not enjoying it. Holy shit, man. It saves me so much headache when I enjoy the season. I said tapped into the episode and almost poopied my pants. Peak. Sorry to hear that, or I'm happy for you. Whichever one is potentially more fitting. It's always funny. I don't know if people say this about me with ReZero, but with MHA they'd be like, "Oh, he hates for the clout or whatever." As soon as I started enjoying the season, dude, everything is going so much better. Like, things are looking good, man. The channel's doing great. I got guests coming on stream. It's awesome, man. Are you only enjoying the season for the clout? I don't think I'm capable of being that inauthentic. As funny as that would be. Ask Hamil how explaining Aura Monster to his coworkers went. I'm sure it'll come up. I'm sure it'll come up. That comment got 56 upvotes now? Is it the one I was talking about with the Subaru trying to grab Rem but accidentally grabbing Ram? Is that what you're talking about? I kind of realized that if you read it in advance, you find yourself criticizing it way more. I mean, I'm still reading in advance, obviously, because I'm making the videos, right? It's just what we're getting. Fucking rules, man. It's awesome. The GOAT Hamil is here? He will be. At some point. Mark Hamill, yeah, exactly. Why was I not satisfied with the direction of the miasma conflict? Like, it was good, but reading the novel made me imagine shit that was so brutal. I mean, that's kind of the nature, right? When you're reading something, it's left to your mind's eye. Whereas when it's animated, you see someone's interpretation of it. So.
My XP bar is low.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying, bro. Do you reread the novel before making the content videos? Yeah, I do. Are the questions preset, or could we ask any? I have some preset questions, yes. But I do imagine that some will come up organically in chat or whatever. So. Ice tweeted about the stream. Yeah, man. For me personally, I reread the miasma scene for this episode last week. I even tweeted about it. I was like, dude, this is like way fucking more insane than I remember. Like, holy shit. The funny thing about Arc 6, and this is like elite ball knowledge, you have to like really be a real ass accordion to know about this. When I was first reading Arc 6 and I read the cave scene and I was like, oh, this is why people like Arc 6. It's because it's edgy. And I was ready to be like, not as big of a fan of Arc 6 as other people were, because I really thought people just liked it because it was edgy, and then I read the rest of it and I was like, okay. Never mind, it's that good. It really is that good. If you're interested in this question, I was curious if the team took any criticism from Season 3 into the creation of Season 4. If they did, it would, I don't think, be any criticism from any English speakers. I mean, to some extent, it might have been like maybe Hamil took some in, but like, I don't know about anyone else because they don't speak English probably, and they're probably mostly just paying attention to the Japanese fandom. As I said, damn Arc 6 got hands. I only read like 2 or 3 web novel chapters a day. And when I got to phase 3, obviously I'm not gonna spoil any anime only, it's just so nobody freak out about that. I read that shit in one sitting. It was so good.
What happened? You used to be a professional hater.
I still am, dude. I'm making a video right now where I talk shit about MHA and JJK and CSM. If they're anything like top A, they probably do lurk a bit on our side of ReZero. Yeah, but I can only imagine it's not like a lot. I'm really interested if Hamil would know anything about the decision making for initially trying to do Arc 5 and 6 in one season. I don't think he would. Or if he did, he probably would not answer. But I don't think he would because that's kind of above his station. If I had to guess. Are you keeping your thoughts on specific scenes from the ending for later in the stream? I mean, no, you can ask if you want. It's fine. Where's Hamil and any other guests going to be sitting in this cramped office? Hamil will be floating like a ghost in the office, and that is just about it. It's about the best I could muster. Rabbit or miasma death? Like, are we talking about like what's more fucked up? To me, it was the miasma death, but I don't know. I feel like there's a level of separation between like the rabbit death, where like if I read it or if I watch it, I'm just like, yeah, it's fucked up, but like, eh. You got the air fryer on deck. That's what people fucking voted for. What's the current OST? Silent Hill 2. Guess the ending wasn't as spiced up visual-wise, seeing as it won't be playing often. I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. Here matters. Donation straight up got rejected. That's awesome. That's just not popping up. What did you think about the anime making Subaru move from miasma death too fast? I mean, I think it's kind of like that in the novels too. I don't think he really moves on from it though. I feel like that kind of like permeates throughout the rest of his experience, no? What did you think of Patrochet's cackle before pouncing? When I first heard about it, I thought it was going to be corny. But then I saw it and I was like, it's good. It's good, actually. I was surprised. Was it in the light novel or web novel where the Ram Subaru thing got cut? I can't find it in the chapter in the women. It might be in the light novel. I only go through the light novel for these videos. I don't really care too much about the web novel. Having read the scene 2 days ago, the anime definitely toned down the recovery for Super after the loop. It does a little bit, yeah. Because I don't think he really freaks out when Patricia first walks in, because he just got his head bit off like seconds ago. And obviously when you get rid of the talk with Ram, there's like a little bit... It seems like he's reflecting on it a little bit less, but I still think they got the point across. Will this live be saved on your channel? Yeah, they're all saved. Unless something catastrophic happens. Then they won't be. I know, so... someone in my fucking Discord, was it Aviv, I think? Was like, oh, my fucking torrent sucks. It went to a black screen. I was like, dude, that's how it was on the TV, brother. I think it's cool, though, because it kind of makes you think that you're about to watch Super Loop, right? Like you're about to watch him wake up or whatever. And then it hard cuts to his head fucking missing. I thought that was cool. Caught. The dub for the cave was also really good. I haven't seen it. I've heard the dub has been popping off, though. I also heard a lot about Sean Chiplock saying he recorded his fucking ass off for this episode. Do you think there should have been a visual representation for miasma? No, I think it was fine how it was. Freud as the choice for the left versus right thing is so strange to me, it makes no sense. I have not even tried to make heads or tails of it, I'm not gonna lie to you. I just accepted it was changed and I kept it pushing. I was like, okay, sure. On a scale from 1 to 10, how sad will you be when a certain garden gets cut next episode? Never doom. Hashtag never doom. It will be there. Trust. I'm really starting to like Anastasia as a character a lot more. Oh, now that she's not Anastasia? Interesting. Something to think about. Subaru aura farming with invisible providence when no one else can see it is funny as fuck. Dude, that's my goat. Trying the aura farm and everyone just thinks he looks like a fucking lunatic. That's my goat right there. Ice confirmed Shadow Garden is there. Did he? I still think it's unfortunate the anime couldn't really convey it was Anna who was the one near the end of the cave loop and not Aridna. I saw people pointing out that like her fox was on the ground bloodied and that was supposed to be like a sign. I mean, I think that's cool, if it's true. I said because the official trailer showing it. Shadow Garden is in the trailers, is it not? Fuck, I don't remember, man. I don't know. Why does Matter have the Arrow Manga Sensei profile picture? You know, you don't have to ask. You don't have to ask why, man. What are they going to adapt with the Shadow Garden? Probably the Shadow Garden scene. If I had to guess. That's just like, that's what I'm thinking about, though. I think the way she speaks changes, too. It does, yeah. I mean, I think even in the novels, it's not explicitly clear that Aridna switches back to Anastasia. You have to, like, know the difference in speaking style, which I'm not really sure how well it's translated. You'd have to ask Garkar, probably. Where's Hamil? I gotta go in an hour. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know where he is. He's living his life. He's got shit to do. It's like 6 in the morning. I'm sorry. It did show Fox Donut dead on the floor as a subtle hint. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. Get me on the call, be Hamil for a bit. She does use Uchi instead of Boku in the anime. I mean, I imagine that you can pick that up, like, if you're not a fucking silly English speaker, right? Are you in the big leagues now? I asked Keyhound to come on a stream yesterday and she said no. So you can put 2 and 2 together with that one if you would like. Rate this new episode out of 10? I gave it a 9. Only thing holding it back for me is just the centaur section, really. Ask her every week. No, I don't think so. She said no very nicely. It was very, very polite. It was very, very polite. Subaru uses ore, right? Yeah. You interview Hamil in Japanese? Pretty sure he's American, so no. Although that would be quite the surprise if he hops on the call and doesn't speak a lick of English. That would be awesome, dude. I would DM Gokar so fast. When is the Shirohara guest appearance? I don't know, dude. I've already DM'd him and he aired the fuck out of me, so... Probably never. Do you think it's for the best with the episode, the 19 episode problem? Yeah, probably. I mean, if something's gotta go, right? Shoot the Yusuke shot, win? I don't think he speaks English, bro. He's not gonna talk to me. You still like the centaur? I would say in totality, I do like the centaur stuff, yes. When's the Tape interview, bro? Tape would never hop on a stream, bro. Tape would maybe accept an email interview. Does Tape speak fluent English? I don't know if he really speaks like much at all. I have no clue. We're gonna have to ask the next person who sees him to just start talking to him in English and see what happens. Tape has said in a very old Q&A that he's bad at English. Maybe he's being humble. Think about that. Next talk show, I'll just say stuff in English. Giguk is probably the only person that can get a Tape interview. That is until I have Giguk on the stream. Then the door is open. You think the next arc will also get adapted? Yeah, I do. We buy 1 billion light novels in June and fill the talk show with Americans. Oh, shit. Do you think what ifs are going to be adapted? If there was any justice in this world, the answer would be no. And we would put our priorities and our resources into really cool side stories. Do they have the balls to put Arc 7 and Arc 8 in one season? I don't know if it's about having the balls or if it's about having the time. Arc 7 is long. I mean, yeah. It's not like that long though. Like not like insanely long. Okay, chat. Just a few minutes away, Jordan says that he is almost home, and Hamil says he is ready whenever. If Jordan was gonna take a little bit longer, I would probably just have Hamil on right now, but I don't want to fucking leave Jordan out. That'd be fucked up. So, we will have Jordan and Hamil on shortly. Jordan cuck chair. Jordan said that last time and took an hour? That's not true. Asa, don't forget to vote for this week's item. I might do it later, or maybe I'll do it next week. We'll do a double again. Fuck. It's half true, just let me agenda. Your agenda fucking sucks, dude. Your agenda is anti-Jordan, and I don't approve of that. When is the Aldebaran interview on stream? Oh my god, man. I wish. We need Aldebaran figure. Oh, that's right, dude. I got my fucking Aldebaran figure. Oh, dude, it's so awesome. Check this guy out, man. He looks so good. I also have no idea why this got 721 likes. Does the mask come off? No. Unfortunately. It's so awesome, dude. I have it right behind my monitor. What do you think of Aura Monster? I'm indifferent. I think it's better than like most ReZero memes at least. Got that going. That's cool. Do the rest of the clothes come off? You have to buy it for yourself and find out, huh? You know where you can get the new figures? I don't. I'm sure there are websites. I don't know them though. Did you find a jar? Not yet. Is Hamil in the room with us? He's about to be, momentarily. The Aldebaran figure is way bigger than I thought it would be. I thought that figure was a Crane game only one. It is, yeah. I have a friend in Japan who played the Crane game, and he sent it to me. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Gakar. I'm gonna try and make an owl helmet for cosplay purposes. If it turns out well, would you want one, Asa? Maybe, man. I'll think about that. What rating would you give the new episode? 9. 9 out of 10. Is it a 1 out of over? I have no idea what's the sizes. I'm sorry. I don't know. Those legs are dangling top right. Bartol slandered Kagurabachi in chat and got executed. Everyone voted to execute him, so we executed him. And he's been there ever since. How much does the figure cost for you? 0, because it was a gift from my good pal. I saw it online for like $45, and I don't think that was including shipping. So it's probably more than that, especially if you're an American, you have to pay a fucking tariff. Assuming that's still going on. How much did you rate episode 2? I'm pretty sure I gave it an 8. Thought it was good. It was a good episode. I need you to ask Hamil his thoughts on the image within the pride flag. I'll see what I can do. That must have been at a cheaper price because the figure was missing an arm. Fun fact, he was actually more expensive than Priscilla, I think. Does good equals alright. Oh, man. I feel like everyone who's taking part in the good equal alright, or alright equal good debate is, like, tired of the conversation. What exactly is the convo with Hamil gonna be about? We're just gonna talk about the episode, talk about the anime, ask him some questions. Just gonna hang out, man. It's gonna be chill. Do you have a Priscilla figure too? No, I do wish I did have one, but I can't be too greedy. If you had a Priscilla figure, would it be next to the Aldebaran figure? Absolutely. I'm new to your channel. Have you read the whole web novel? I'm only behind. I have not read Arc 10. That is it. If Jordan isn't here in 5 minutes, he has to wear the cat ears. I'll bring it up, yeah. What do you think about An Historian? I don't really have any strong opinions. I find it quite funny that he's getting his ass kicked like every time I see him. Is it really the Hamil? Yes, he will be here shortly. We're just waiting for Jordan, and then we'll start. Hamil better not sound like you pretending to be Hamil. Imagine if this stream was just like me talking to myself, 3 different voices. That'd be awesome, man. How well is the stream doing viewer-wise compared to usual? Like double. Jordan's supposed to be here already? He said almost there, and that was 5 minutes ago, so... Maybe I should... Maybe I should make the Jordan made picture just a little bit bigger. To see like maybe if Hamil will notice it and talk about it. Just size it up just a little bit. He already is pretending to be moist critical. No need to pretend to be 2 people. True. They got Jordan, I guess, man. Give us an Owl Dog full body? Whoa, you want to see my full body? Dude, relax. You did, okay. You didn't see that. There was nothing to see. Is fucking Cecilia's segment in chat trying to summon Hamil? What the hell? That's crazy. You know, I've never seen Asa and Moist in the same room, huh? It's so funny, man. I've been doing YouTube for like 4 or 5 years, and I still get a comment probably like every day going like, has anyone ever told you you sound like Moist Critical? No, man. First time hearing of it, actually. It's interesting. Oh my god, Jordan's finally here. Yeah, I'm gonna call. Well, well, well. Well, 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 Jordan. Look who kept the people waiting.
It,
Jordan?
I made it. I'm sorry. Whew, I had to speed home, dude. I swear, I deserve like 4 tickets, man, for the way I got home today. All right.
I mean, you didn't have to go that
Look,
fast. Like,
man.
it's all right. Like, you didn't have to
I
put
had to
your
go
life at
fast.
risk and everyone in the state of Georgia at risk just to get here like a little bit faster.
Hey, man. I did what I had to do. Hello, Hamil.
Hello, Hamil.
Hello? Testing.
It works. Sounds good to me, man.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
I'm using speakers, so if like there's like some echo or the noise bleeds through or something, just let me know. I can switch to headphones.
Okay, sure.
Oh, you're good. Don't even worry.
Well,
Oh,
well,
man.
well.
How
Episode
about that
3, huh? Dude, Jordan, when you messaged me, you were
Yeah.
like, I gotta get my sandwich. I was like, this fucking guy. So fucked.
Yeah, dude, I was just having a good day, you know, and my boss left, and I was like, okay, let me go walk away real quick and, you know, go get a sandwich. You know, I took Chat's advice. I went to the kitchen area away from my entire office, sat down, and yeah, decisions were regretted by the time the episode ended, but it was a good sandwich at least.
I think it was Jimmy John, so it probably wasn't,
Oh.
unfortunately.
Amen. It was all right.
I guess
It's
we should probably kick this off because not everyone in chat is going to be an animation head or even know who you are. Hamble, would you like to introduce yourself to the normal people in chat?
Yeah, sure. I'm Hamil. I'm main animator and action supervisor for ReZero. And yeah, it's nice to meet everybody. Thanks for having me.
If I can ask, what
Likewise,
exactly
thank you.
what exactly
by.
is like the job description of main animator?
I mean, that's a very good question.
Okay.
I guess for like a really nuanced discussion, you could say that it's kind of different depending on the production
Mhm.
and what your role is. But main animator, I guess, is just like it's just another key animator, but they do a lot
Oh
for
shit,
the
okay.
for the show. But it's not so different than just a normal like key animator. But you usually do have other responsibilities as well that extend beyond just doing like layouts, doing Genga. You have so for me like my extended role is to be like the action supervisor.
Right, yeah.
And that so it kind of goes like hand in hand. But it's kind of a role that I didn't really ask for it. It was just it kind of just ended up in my lap through
Interesting.
various circumstances. But yeah, I guess that's the easiest way to explain it.
That's interesting. So it sounds like you're doing a lot.
I'm contributing quite a bit. I mean,
okay.
it's not anything crazy. There are, plenty of people on the production who do a lot of work for ReZero. So I guess, yeah, I mean, I would encourage people to like not really think of it as like any sort of like special technically it's like main staff, I guess you could say, but in reality it's not like anything like super crazy. Lots of people are working very hard on it,
so you're primarily like action supervision, and what does that also entail?
just so if there are layouts coming in from various people, usually freelancers, and let's say the episode director, they are kind of thinking that the action that was submitted is like not really in line, or it needs to be adjusted in some way or redone, then they'll send it my way and explain like, what needs to be done about it.
Hmm.
Or in some circumstances, I will be looking at the, progress, the state of the episode, like states of the layouts that are coming in, and I will make a decision on some things in the action that, are not quite there, or they need to be adjusted in some way or redone. And then I just take on that role of being like the person who makes those corrections and gets them ready for, like, I guess I'm the person who makes sure that during the episode nobody is like, ew, what just happened during like the action scene. I guess that's
Okay.
kind of like main role. Just making sure everything, the action is to a certain standard and can be put to broadcast.
Okay. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be asking about this one, so we can put this one to bed early. We can put this one to bed real quick. Or a monster, of course. So,
Interesting.
yeah. What was that like, having to explain that to the coworkers?
Well, it's kind of weird because Aura Monster, it wasn't like in the Japanese sphere of influence
Mhm.
at all until the, what's it called? The opening premiered.
Mhm.
Up until then, like pretty much nobody on the staff, or Japanese people in general, really didn't know about it. But it's only because the opening premiered, and then, if you were, because we were at the venue where, we were at Anime Japan, the venue
Mhm.
where it premiered. Like I was there with the opening director and some other people to see it live. And as soon as it came out, obviously we all like wanted to see like reactions, so
Yeah.
we would check out the YouTube video. And then every other English comment is talking about some Aura monster. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah. It's so crazy.
ultimately I have no choice but to like kind of like explain what it is. But of course
Mhm.
it's like it's literally nothing, so you
It's
can't
yeah.
really explain it.
See, that's what I was wondering too. Like when I think about how you explain that, I don't know, because the meme is that it's nothing.
Yeah, it's literally not, and so that's kind of how I described it, where I explained it. Well, it's just a very funny meme that comes from overseas, is kind of the sense of how I described it as.
It's what the Americans talk about. It has actually no there's no joke. That's just what they do.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like super, I guess they kind of get it, because,
Yeah.
Japanese, they have their own memes that don't really mean anything, or kind of
Yeah.
dumb. So it's not too crazy. But they liked it. I mean, the the opening director was like, had a pretty good giggle about it.
Well, that's good, because I imagine it would have been jarring to see a bunch of English comments on the opening, all saying the same joke.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's all it is too. If you just, no matter how much you, no matter how many days go by, you just see Aura Monster, Aura
Dude,
Monster. They
I
included Aura Monster.
I have people that like don't know anything about ReZero that like know about Aura Monster, and I don't understand. I don't understand how it's gone triple platinum like this.
I really don't either. I'm gonna be honest with you. It seems like it shouldn't be on the same level of like what Noya did. You know what I mean? And JJK, but
Oh
like no,
Jesus.
it's up there. It's up there. It's pretty intense, but
I think
still
it's
pretty
a
cool to
pretty good
see.
meme.
But
It's all right.
I I don't find it funny, but like I'm glad we have it. You know what I mean? Like it could be so much worse.
Yeah, I feel like it could be worse.
Yeah. You got any more, Asa?
Yeah. We talked about this a little bit in DMs, but You mentioned that when you started working on ReZero, well, before you were working on ReZero, you were already like a ReZero fan. Is that correct? To some extent.
Yeah, I was a fan of the anime ever since season 1 aired.
And then when you started working on it, you were like, well, I guess it's time for me to pick up the books.
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, I skipped over um the stuff that was already in the anime.
Dude,
I mean, I want to
same.
go back and read it sometime when I have
Mhm.
time. But so I basically started at like I think I read like a tiny bit of arc 5, but then I started reading from arc 6
Mhm.
and I got through arc 6, got through arc 7, and currently I'm stuck on like the beginning of arc 8 because I just don't have time to read it.
Yeah. Are you
But
reading light novel or web novel?
the web novel.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
mean, can you there's no I'm not good enough at Japanese yet where I can like read the
Oh, you're not?
Japanese. No, no, no. I mean, I
Damn.
can hold like I can it's no problem to hold conversations in Japanese, but like reading is a whole nother level. It's like
Okay. Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
and I
So,
don't know. Does Yempress how far does like the
oh,
English version go up to?
I think they're still in like the start of, or maybe like there are a few phases in the arc 7, I think.
I see.
So they're really, really, really far behind.
Yeah, they're a
If
bit
you've
slow.
if you made it to arc 8, the obligatory question is: so far, who are your goats of ReZero?
I mean my goat is like well it was when I was just in anime only, my goat was like Krush and
Oh,
Wilhelm. I mean those
okay, that's
two
fair.
I thought they were like the coolest characters ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I just absolutely loved Wilhelm ever since the white whale encounter, the white whale fight.
Very very fair. Yeah.
I think that
I
captured a
just
lot
thought
of
he was
anime
like the
onlys.
dopest. Yeah, I just thought he was like the dopest character ever. But now I guess since I mean in the area where I'm reading, they're kind of like out of the story quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess after reading Arc 7, honestly I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to pick.
You can just say Aldebaran. It's all good. It's a safe place.
All right, yeah, we can go with that.
All right, sweet. You heard it here first,
I
everyone.
mean,
We got the
I
cosign.
think I think like I think Chisha is like one of the most
Oh yeah,
interesting
yeah.
characters
That's a
I've
good
read
pick.
recently.
A good pick.
Chisha is like very interesting.
That's a great pick. Everyone's gonna love that. That's a great pick.
Yeah, dude, chat just went nuclear. There you go.
Oh yeah, some people want to know if you've read the EX stories as well.
No, I haven't yet.
That's
I have a
fair.
lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, you do. It's some would say too dense. Like you have to do a lot of work to get through.
Yeah, I can see that. But it's good though. It's like
Yeah.
there's I wish I could just like stop working and just keep reading for a while.
I can only imagine. We spoke about this briefly as well. That like while you're reading, and especially now that you read arc 6, and now you're working on arc 6, right? I can only imagine like while you're reading, you're thinking about some of these scenes and how some of them might like play out in your mind. And I don't know if you had
Yeah.
any particular thoughts on some of the absurd happenings of episode 3, but it'd be interesting to hear if there's any like fun anecdotes about that.
Yeah, for well in regards to like reading the material and then it for sure gives like a ton of ideas
Hmm.
and you know I start to visualize a lot of things in regards to like how I would imagine certain scenes would play out, but ultimately it's not I'm not really too involved with that.
Hmm.
Sometimes I do like storyboard adjustments or I might like redo the storyboard for a certain action scene altogether. And in those cases, I do have like the chance to kind of express like how I was imagining the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, like, that stuff is all like totally established by
Yeah.
all the, the pre-production stages, script, scenario, etc. So I just, by the time I have to do my job, it's like everything is already in like these how to say, like, everything's already established
Yeah. Yeah.
and ready to go for production by the time the animators get it.
Yeah. There was a somewhat related question earlier from someone in chat who asked if you were able to answer how much like freedom or time you have to change the storyboards.
Yeah, it all depends on like, well, obviously if anything needs to be changed in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just a matter of, right, how much time we got.
Yeah.
And then cuz a lot those like storyboard elements, they need to be established pretty far beforehand, compared to like the actual animation and like layout and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because things need to be ready for like, um I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but like cutting voice actor and then
Mm-hmm.
like dubbing and stuff like that. So if you have the time, then they'll let me do it if I have some ideas, but it varies from episode to episode.
Okay.
And season 3, not much of that was happening at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
It's
That makes
just
sense.
like you get what you get.
Jordan, you got any questions?
I do. Mine's are a little bit more over the place, Hamil, if you'll bear with me. But my first question is, over the years, I'm sure you've probably noticed that the anime community, we hear a lot more, probably more than we should, about what goes on behind the scenes, especially from places like Mappa and Bones. But just from your personal experience, how has your time been at White Fox personally? I know you've been around working with I know you were around on Sengoku Yoko for a while as well. So I know you kind of just been there, going from there, and I imagine you bouncing back and forth with, between that and ReZero season 3, and then here we are with 4. So just how has your time been with White Fox overall? Just, from your own personal thoughts.
So from like, I guess in terms of like just overall happiness and work conditions, it's been phenomenal. That's why I've
Really?
been
That's great to hear.
doing
Yeah.
doing ReZero for like as long as I have now.
Mhm.
It's probably almost like 3 or 4 years at this point.
Right.
But it is
Absolutely.
genuinely fun to work
Hmm.
like at the studio, to talk with people and stuff.
Hmm.
And I know people are always talking about like work conditions and money
Mhm.
and stuff.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
very it's a very, very tricky conversation these days.
Right.
Um because it's very, like, your experience highly depends on the studio, um the work that you're doing,
Hmm.
and like some people have it really rough, but others like me, for instance, you genuinely do make, I mean, you're not rich obviously, but you can support yourself
Mhm.
comfortably in Tokyo. But it
Word.
depends on a lot of circumstances, because I guess I'm not necessarily the average, but I'm also not like exceptional by any means. I'm kind of like a little above average in terms of like, um I guess how much I get paid.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But things are changing like pretty rapidly in the industry. That's why I'm kind of like, I guess, like walking circles around this question right now, is because it's very nuanced.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
for instance, like the whole Mappa situation. I mean, of course, Mappa is
Yeah.
like before, like when Mappa got some heat for like their, whatever the hours, conditions, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. For JJK and all that good stuff.
Yeah, especially for JGK season 2, right? They
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason why Mappa is like the focus in there is because they're incredibly well known.
Mhm. Mhm.
But at that time, I mean, still as well, every studio operates in a very similar way.
Right.
So the vast majority of studios, there's people pulling overtime.
Yeah.
Like
It was.
schedules are all over the place. Some are bad,
Mhm.
some are really good. It's it's all over the place.
Yeah. I
But
mean, there.
recently, I think, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like the instances with Mappa were just like really publicized as well. Like I remember
Yeah,
back during Chainsaw Man's TV anime was airing, like people were posting about how like they're like outsourcing stuff the day before airing. So there was definitely a lot more eyes on it, and there was also a lot more publicized situations as opposed to other studios. It seems.
yeah. And these days, Mappa is like, um, it's one of the probably if you're an animator, it's one of the better places to go
I've heard. Yeah, I've heard they
because
changed.
the pay is quite good
Mhm.
relative by industry standards, and the schedules aren't as bad as like before as that time.
Mhm.
But it depends on because every studio has multiple, well, not every studio, but the big studios, right? They have multiple lines of production going on. So one studio could have like a very, very bad scheduled production going on and also have a really, really
Yeah.
good production going on at the same time. It all depends on the team, the producer, and how things are managed on each individual production. So there's, studio names are like kind of, it's hard to judge
Mhm.
like work quality or work life balance quality just based on the studio name,
Mhm.
especially if it's a big studio, because big studios have multiple lines going on, and
Right.
some lines are would be really cool to work with, but if
Yeah.
they put you on one of those other lines that, oh, like, I don't really want to be on that one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. So it's hard to like just say, well, it's because it's this studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's
why they have it like
extremely
this.
nuanced.
It is very nuanced, yeah.
Okay. Okay. That,
Yeah,
that
we
checks
talked about
out.
that. Pull the trigger.
And I guess leading off of that, then, of course, even before ReZero, I saw that you swung on Period for a little bit with Boruto, a little bit of Castlevania, and then primarily with White Fox now. Would you say that you're pretty much kind of just sticking with White Fox, at least for the foreseeable future going forward here?
That I don't know if I can
Oh.
answer that one.
Okay. No, that's
Okay.
okay.
Fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
figured there's some things. I figured there are some things that you
Jordan, you
gotta
fucker.
tread carefully, which is understandable because I know you probably don't want to give away as to where you may be, next without things being official and all that good stuff. So I understand. I did see this one question in chat, and it is kind of my question too, partially too. But who in the anime industry? Because there's tons and tons out there, but who are the people that have inspired you in the anime industry? It could be directors or animators, of course, just anybody in general, really.
Yeah, so I started animating because of Nakamura,
Ah,
Yutaka Nakamura. So every like
Oh.
he's such a huge name at this point that even non-animators are pretty familiar with him.
right.
But a lot of young animators, they start out because they like his stuff, and I was the same way. But I guess not really for me, not really his recent stuff, but actually his more grounded work from the early 2000s.
So like Full Metal Alchemist, kind of Space Dandy era.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Full Metal Alchemist, Sword of the Stranger.
Right. Yeah, that's the Hall of Fame. Where I'm just curious, were you a fan of how he took things with MHA as well? Especially looking at his big, probably his last major cut off of the Your Next movie.
Good question. He's he's kind of like changed a lot over the years. I mean, he's like doing what he wants. I
Yeah.
have like varying opinions on his like recent works. obviously
Yeah.
everything is still like technically from a
Mhm.
technical perspective, everything is still like incredible.
Mhm.
But there are like some nuanced things where I would say like, maybe this doesn't really fit, or sometimes those thoughts come up. As for like the scene that you talked about, I haven't watched the movie, so it's a movie, right?
Mhm.
The most
Yeah,
recent.
yeah.
I'd have to watch it to like make a proper judgment, because
Yeah.
it's like there's these days it's like Sakuga Twitter has like become kind of a real problem, where
Oh yeah.
I guess Sakuga is like in its own like little vacuum kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see clips and then make judgments about stuff, and of course it's like short form stuff where you don't really get context, and it's like you really have to know, if like the animation is good, you really have to know how it actually supports the work and elevates the work. So for Nakamura in particular, like if to put it basic, I guess, like recently the stuff he's been doing, sometimes for me it's hit, sometimes it's a little bit of a miss.
I agree.
I absolutely understand, because I know that for what he did, like I know MHA overall, whether it's been small cuts and of course it's big cuts, it's been pretty widely received. But I know, for instance, Gachi Akuta, for example, going into the climax of the season, I know that his cut with the Cleaners versus the Raiders had a lot of people kind of feeling a little indifferent about it. I'm not sure if, I think some people mentioned, I don't know if he's working with like Blender or stuff like that, but I definitely understand though. I think that growing up, like you said, growing up, you see a lot of his, especially his hand to hand or kind of, more close range kinetic exchanges were really, really like just impressive, looking at Sword of the Stranger. And of course, some cuts on Full Metal Alchemist, Space Dandy especially had some crazy cool stuff. But nowadays, I definitely understand. I feel like now more than ever, I feel like I've heard more criticism about him, which is not necessarily a bad thing, of course, right? Because it's good for everybody to talk about what they liked and what they didn't like. But I think just for years, I would always hear like Nakamura, just rarely no complaints, untouchable. And now lately, it's definitely like you said, he's changed some things up, but not a bad thing. You know what I mean? He's been in the game for a long time.
Mm.
So naturally, I assume he's probably just testing different waters, different flavors, and all that good
Mhm.
stuff. I do want to ask this question because a person in chat did ask this question, wanted me to ask you this question. He said, "What episode of ReZero did you have the most fun working on so far, and what's your
Oh,
fluency at spoken Japanese?"
good luck with that one, brother.
Good question. Actually have to think about that one.
Yeah, take your time.
I
I
guess
got you, LMP.
my favorite might be 52, or episode 2 of season 3, just because
Mm.
Hmm.
I had like the most time to work with, because it's like at the beginning of the production.
Yeah.
Right. And
That
I
was
think that was
really
that was
fun.
the Amelia cut, right? All the cuts of Amelia and all that good stuff.
Yeah, Emilia and Sirius were fighting,
Yeah.
Yep.
but I also did like a lot of other cuts towards the end as well. It was just fun
Right.
to be like, kind of working without too much worry about a creeping up schedule or anything.
Mhm.
Right.
And because of that, I think I was really able to do some good work.
No, absolutely. I think that back when we were streaming and talking about it, I think I had quite a good things to say about that Amelia
Yeah.
cut. I liked how kinetic it was, just the brief clash of the ice weapons and then, her flaming sickles and all that good stuff. I thought that movement was good because I know that, going into season 3, I heard that ReZero is about to, take like a good shift. You don't really watch
Right.
ReZero for the action in comparison to something like JJK, for example. But ReZero is a story that has a lot of conflict, so naturally a lot of action will follow. And in comparison to the first 2 seasons, this will be the first time that not only all of our main cast would be in one area again, but then they're going more directly head to head with the witch cult. So, one of the things I was talking about leading up to season 3 was I was curious to see what or who, would kind of stand out to kind of show how the ReZero team is making those pivots towards action and all that good stuff. And I definitely, mentioned how your cuts and, your lead or whatever the case may be was definitely kind of pushing that envelope in a pretty cool way, among others, of course. I know, again, like you said earlier, it's a lot of people out there contributing, but just going back to looking at the Boru, for example, and everything, I see like you're credited for quite a few things on here, among others. So I absolutely get it. I absolutely get it. I know it gets kind of in the trenches as the season goes on, even with the split core that you guys had for season 3. I know that it was just, constant gear turning all year long till it ended. And even then, I'm sure you guys got right back to it. So that's good to hear. That is good to hear. I imagine that there's probably some more things on the horizon that you're looking at, and you're like, maybe, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I absolutely understand.
Yeah, no, the episode 2 stuff was my first time being introduced to any of your work, because I'm not particularly educated, for better or for worse. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. I was like, what the hell? Animation like this is ReZero, this is sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a surprise.
It was a good fit for me. Like a really good time for me to join the production and have that be like the first thing that I do. Because I guess my most like specialized area is kind of like weapons animation.
Really?
So it's what I'm most comfortable with, probably.
Yeah. And I absolutely understand that.
And so having like being able to enter the production right when Emilia, gets that in her arsenal, and getting to do that right away was, I guess, kind of like a pretty good fortune for me, because I could kind of like, at that time I was still like not necessarily on the production as like somebody who would be in control of the action for in terms of a larger role. I wasn't really like main animator. So having that, like being able to like still show, because I still wanted to like show the main staff and everybody like what I can do to like the best of my ability. And I think that was like a really good, fortunate kind of event for me, because that I'm most confident with that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I guess the only downside is then like from then on forward, like every Emilia scene I'm like doing, which it's not bad. Like I love drawing Emilia. She's has a really cool design, but it does, like, when you're drawing her like 1,000 times, it does get a little bit old.
Yeah,
that's fair,
I imagine.
But it's fun though. Even today when I still have to draw Amelia, it's like, it's totally like there could be less fun characters to draw for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. I guess then I have one more question, just kind of like for the general, and then I have one personal question just out of pure greed. The first one is oh my god, I'm having a brain fart right now. Do you? I know I'm tweaking. Do you have any series out there in general? It doesn't have to be a series that we kind of know is upcoming, or looking at just ahead, of certain websites that kind of show what series are coming out for the rest of the year. But do you have any series that you'd like to work on, or are you just comfortable with ReZero right now?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, there are series that, oh man, this is like NDA, not NDA, but like
yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. I'm just thinking, because when you say weapon animation, that also kind of piques my interest, because there's a couple of shows out there that really rocks
This
well
guy's
with
always
weapon
pushing his luck,
animation.
man.
Like Shangri-La Frontiers out there. And I guess just kind of including my last personal question. I'm sure maybe I don't know if you've read it or not, but there is a certain series from Toei getting a reboot
Oh my
called World
God.
Trigger. And they happen to deal a lot with weapons, short swords, long swords, snipers, and all that good stuff. So I was just curious, if anything else kind of piques your interest, just by chance.
I mean, it's announced, right? You can say it.
Yeah.
He's trying to be cute.
I see.
Dude, it's so
I
funny
see.
because Jordan, you mentioned a series about weapons, and everyone in chat goes Kagurabachi.
Bachi, yeah.
Ain't no one thinking about World Trigger, bro. Holy.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. I'm coping. All right, I'm coping. I mean, yeah, I could imagine. I mean, if there is a series about weapons to be on right now, and especially with swordsmanship, it's definitely bocce. So we'll keep an eye out. We'll keep an eye out, Mr. Hamil. We'll come back to this.
Actually does seem like it would be fun. I'm not familiar with the source material, but
Right.
like I've heard rumblings about like the production throughout the industry,
Mhm.
Right.
and there are lots of people within the industry who are like quite excited about it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that's about to be the next big buzz, and rightfully so, because JJK, all things considered, it's in its final stretch of the story. Granted, of course, it may take another 2 to 4 years to finish that, maybe 5 if we're lucky. But I definitely think Bocce's about to be that series, and just looking at how the author of the series really works with angles and just making sword fights kind of fresh, you know what I mean? Because truth be told, we really do not get a lot of series in the anime space now that really puts a lot of cool emphasis on swordsmanship. I don't really know how many series out there you could really say come close to things like Sword of the Stranger, for example, that really kind of make you think about how swordsmanship is directed and all that good stuff. But Baji is definitely about to be on there. So whether or not you're on there, though, it's a different story. I know
Rock
you're
my world, dude.
yeah, I know you're full speed ahead with ReZero, and I can imagine how taxing it could be to juggle. Because again, I can imagine even working with Sengoku. I can imagine you were probably working with ReZero at the same time, because Sengoku was a full 3 core adaptation. I think, and then you had ReZero pretty much coming around the same time. So I can imagine you were pretty much neck and neck with that for a while. So I absolutely get it if you just are cool with sticking with ReZero for a while, by all means.
Well, actually, for me, unlike most of the in-house people at White Fox, I don't have to, like, I'm not necessarily needing to work on both of those productions. I was
Okay.
I was working on Sengoku Yoko because I was waiting for ReZero to start, like, get the ball rolling. But once ReZero started in full, then from that point on, I wasn't really involved on
Right.
Sengoku Yoko again.
Yeah.
Because I'm a freelancer. So
Right.
Really?
yeah, I'm not actually in-house at White Fox.
Oh, okay.
Even though,
I see.
I'm obviously I
but-
go there like all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
your output definitely would make people think otherwise.
That's news
you know
to
what I
me,
mean?
yeah. Holy.
No,
Yeah.
it's yeah. That I mean, that's just how the anime industry works. Because so many freelancers, and
Yeah.
like people work on like that contract-based system where, when you assemble your team for the production, then it's going to involve in-house people, but it'll also involve a lot of freelancers.
Mhm.
But those freelancers, I mean, if they're, like good workers and good people, they'll stick to one production or 2 productions maybe
Right.
for the duration of that production. So I'm not technically in-house at White Fox, but I've been like completely committed. Like 90% of my work during
Yeah.
this time has been ReZero.
That makes sense, yeah.
Okay. Well,
So we just had episode 3. That was a pretty good episode, huh, guys?
yeah.
I'm curious
Oh,
to
man.
hear an anime only's perspective
Yeah.
on
Oh.
everything that happened.
Yep.
Oh. Okay. Well, let me get the notepad
Pull out
out.
the notes. I would like to say episode was fantastic. You guys did a fantastic job on that episode. It was great.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm
No.
glad it's been a positive reception.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think this is probably like the first time in a long time where I really felt people say, "Hey, you might want to really, really, really pay attention to ReZero this week." And I made sure to give it my undivided attention, even in the office. And I think the funniest thing about today was that I have to like be normal while I'm watching ReZero. You know what I mean? Like my coworkers are walking next to me. They're grabbing snacks and talking, and I'm just watching this awful scene, like god awful, as in like, oh my god, like.
Wait,
this
were you
just
watching
happened,
that
kinda.
in the office, man?
I had to,
Brother.
I had to, but I walked away. I went to the kitchen area, so there was nobody near me.
Oh, good.
People
Nice.
come and like get snacks and stuff. So like
The
I'm
perfect-
looking
Yeah.
looking to my left, but
That's the perfect
no,
place to do it.
I would say I
Pretty
think,
risky.
man. Yeah, I know it is. It definitely is. It's it's what I have to do, man. To get here on time and be locked and loaded. It definitely helps that my situation works out with my superiors leaving a little bit early, so I can kind of walk away for like good 20 minutes and come right on back. But no, episode 3. I mean, we start out underground, so this episode really follows a nice horror like. I don't want to say script, but more so like horror like setup and the momentum to it. You start with the classic separated. You're underground, separated, people are stressed. You got Subaru, you got, what do they call her? Not Foxinda?
Aridna,
Is
yeah.
that what they call it? Aridna. I gotta get used to that. You got Aridna, you got Subaru, and of course, you got Ram. And a good old trio. And I'm like, okay. We got these 3. It's not the worst thing. You get all these sense of tensions getting high as the episode goes on because, Ram's obviously not pleased that, he didn't go with Rem. And, I heard there was a quote unquote, apparently there's a cut there, but, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
later. Yeah, don't worry about that.
But, it got pretty real pretty fast. You really do get like the sense of the rising tension over the course of the episode. But I do like the little details, of course, as they're navigating through the cave, how Ram mentions, like, hey, don't you want to contact some lesser spirits? And Subaru's like, oh, I can't. Beatrice's aura basically scares all lesser spirits away. I thought that was a pretty funny detail. Makes sense, of course, because Subaru did make an unusual contract with such a unusually powerful spirit, all things considered. It's literally like hydrogen baby and coughing guy, basically. So pretty funny detail. We get to the door versus wall scene. So I do want to ask also, just to clarify, because there were, so when Subaru was saying how he sees it as like a door, and then they were like, oh, like we see it as like a wall. Was that like, am I missing something there, or was that like a literal like like that's just how he saw it? Like there wasn't anything.
That's just how it was,
Subaru
man.
See, okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was
He's
like
just
a witch
fucking stupid,
factor
man.
thing. Yeah, okay. I didn't know if it was like a witch factor thing. Like he saw something that they didn't, especially when he put his hand on the wall, and then that contact kind of made something go on, and then it disappeared, and then they just kept progressing. But
No,
I
man,
digress.
he's just not very bright. That's all.
Okay, so so we're moving on then. So we're getting to the toll of the travel. So as I stated first, the tensions are already high. It's getting real fast, and then you start to see everybody kind of slowly they're losing it, basically. Subaru and Ram start going at it, and Aridna, she's trying to keep the peace the best that she can, but to no avail, of course. And then we get to the unfortunate dead end. So just to give everybody a picture, so like at this point I'm still just just chowing down on my sandwich. I'm having a great time. Okay. And
Oh man.
Subaru, he gets to the wall, the one that doesn't disappear. He starts punching it. He's getting pissed off. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to tense up a little bit. And him and Ram start going at it, and Subaru's losing it. And one interesting thing I thought about, while I'm watching this scene is that we talk about how the more of these witch factors he inherits and all that good stuff, or the archbishop factors that he inherits and all that good stuff. There's a possibility of
Blue Anastasia
personality
says, "Hi, Jordan."
influence, just like how we saw with Regulus, obviously, and then Pedal Geese. Most importantly, that was probably the most Pedal Geese and Sirius probably being the most intense forms of personality influence by the factor and all that good stuff. For some of the dialogue, it really just felt like the way of aggression in his voice and coming at Ram and all that good stuff. It almost felt like Regulus was kind of coming out a little bit. You know what I mean? Because Regulus, he was always so loud and angry and
So that
just
was your
very
okay.
intense.
That was your thought process while it was first happening.
Yeah, like
That's
I don't know.
interesting.
It seemed
That's
unusual because when you go back to last season, I really felt like Subaru kept his head on together, even with even with the archbishops. But and of course, granted, of course, there was another force at play here that I'll get to towards the end after the white, but it just seemed very aggressive, more than usual. Don't get me wrong. I know that him and Ram have butted heads a lot in the future or in the past, but
You're like, damn, bro, chill.
yeah, I was like, Subaru, and then like he told Aridna to be quiet or shut up, and I was like, all right, bro, like you gotta relax. And he was just going at it. I think it's the part where he's like, like, what's your problem? He always clicking your teeth and all that good stuff, and I was like, okay, I see where this is going. And then, at this point, my notes start getting in all caps, because my first note is rocked her shit, 3 exclamation points, and it's with invisible providence, and I'm like,
Rocked her
okay.
shit.
So he sends her flying. I'm like, yo, like what is going on? Like this is getting a little too far. You know what I mean? But not only that, he gets on top of her and starts choking her to death, and I'm like. So at this point, I'm like, this is what you meant, Awesome, when you were saying how this season really tests personal developments and friendships. You know what I mean? This is really when it starts to get a little intense. And he's choking her to death, and I'm looking left. I'm like, please, nobody come bother me when I'm watching this episode. Like please, like I do not want to look like a weirdo for this dude choking out this girl in the middle of a dungeon. It's gonna look bad. And then, and I'm thinking she's dead by the time he finally gets off. But no, she lets out a gust of wind. And
I absolutely love that cut, by the way, of her reaching for her wand on her thigh. I thought that was awesome. I thought it looked great.
Yes, I did notice that was a little...
That's my favorite cut of the episode, actually.
It's really good.
As well. Yeah, it was a little... Yeah, I noticed that too. It was a little quite well animated. And I was like, oh man, like they're really showing... little character animation and stuff like that goes a long way to kind of convey the emphasis on the action, right? They really got across that she was struggling to reach that wand while she was quite literally dying. But but no, she sends the gust flying, and it turns into a standoff, and then you think it can't get any worse. Yeah, I mean. I swear to God, I was like, okay, this standoff is like, maybe Anastasia is gonna put somebody to sleep, but not like that. Not like that. And we see Ram get stabbed, bro. And I swear to God, I almost yelled at work, and it was so bad. I had to rein that shit in real quick because I was like, this is ridiculous. And going back to episode 1, I wrote in my notes how Anastasia or Aridna says that she will do whatever it takes to reach her goal. And I said in episode 1, I was like, listen, we have to keep an eye on this, because I was willing to think that she was going to sacrifice somebody if push comes to shove. And sure fucking enough, that happens.
Dude, like,
she pulls out the knife.
It's crazy because like you see Subaru and Ram fight, and in your mind that's already like insane. You're like there's no way it could get worse. And then she immediately gets fucking backstabbed.
Right, and I'm like, dude, like this cannot. This cannot.
And then you're like,
worse,
you're like, there's no way it could possibly get worse than this.
Yeah, and dude, at that point, dude, my sandwich was just put down. Like I had a hard time. I was locked in, and
yeah,
I like how as well that when well, no, let me slow down a little bit before I get there. At that point, I really like the OST as well. It just conveys this really twisted situation that
Mhm.
ReZero is excellent at conveying. And she's going up to Subaru, and she's like, I'm choosing the most useful one. And then from, from downtown, from downtown hell,
Downtown is crazy.
she gets sniped, bro, and sliced in half. Even I feel like sniped
There's
is
a
like is not even like conveying the full thing. She gets
there's,
cut in half, man.
there's a few things
Jesus
I want to say.
Christ.
First,
Okay.
the blue filter for the darkness was awesome. By the way, I thought that was
Yes.
great.
And that's what I was about to get to when I
So
said
yeah,
I need to
yeah,
slow down
yeah.
before I get there.
The blue filter was
Man.
great, and I really liked Anastasia's, or I guess Aridna's character acting. Like when she first stabbed Ram, she looked like surprised that she did it. And then also when she's offering to work with Super, she's holding the knife out, and she has like the cartoon, like, oh whoops, let me put this behind my back.
Yep.
I was like,
yep.
dude, that's awesome, dude.
Like, man, the situation.
I love
is
that.
Just,
Oh yeah, and
it-
Evan Kazucover says in chat, I've loved the shot of with Aridna's hand out, and like the invisible Providence goes over her hand first, and then Subaru's hand comes out. I was like, that's so sick.
yes.
That's so
Dude, like
sick.
I thought he was about. I think it's crazy because I thought he was about to body her, and then Ram is like, I got one more in me. You know what I mean? And like she literally just from downtown, and
then the
at that
light
point,
comes
man,
back, dude. Like the light comes back when she gets bisected. That's so crazy, man.
Man, I'm telling you, man, the thought process through this episode was really well executed. I feel like, I mean, dude, it's been a while. Like I would say that like don't get me wrong, season 3 had some rough deaths, like Regulus got crushed and all that good stuff. But like, dude, this was probably the most brutal ReZero has gotten in a very very long time.
The Anastasia death there is, it feels unbelievable, and
Yeah.
like I was talking about this earlier in the stream, like it I don't even know how to like process it in anime for it because it was done so well. It was so good, and
Truly.
it was nasty, but like obviously in a good way because of the context. It was nasty.
Right. And I saw somebody talk about how apparently there was like I don't know if this is true also. I think somebody said it to me in the server, but how like in those final moments, like the real Anastasia.
Yeah, when she gets chopped in two, she starts referring to herself as Anastasia does.
Yeah.
And I thought that's terrifying because imagine
Yeah.
being asleep and then you come back and you're just fucking getting alt F4'd, man. Like that's crazy. I mean, again, absolutely brilliant, horrifyingly brilliant stuff, man. I feel like that is on the level of when Subaru. Honestly, I don't know. I think that's my favorite brutal death in terms of just execution. You know what I mean?
Dude.
you have the rabbits, the white rabbit. You have that, but that to me is just very brutal. But that whole scene from the OST to the color change of the atmosphere and all that good stuff, and then just the voice acting as per usual, absolutely fantastic. Like, I haven't heard the dub cast go at it yet. I think there's some clips I need to go check out, but subcast as always does a fantastic job.
Subaru throwing Anastasia is such an insane addition that it's also perfect. The fact that he for real fucking yeets her over his shoulder and across the cave, when I first saw it, I was like, there is no fucking way that just happened. That's so crazy, but like I mean it in the best way possible. I was like mouth agape. I could not believe that I just saw him toss her like a football across the cave.
Dude,
The episode director, he's like a genius when it comes to this kind of. He also did the boards as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I like what Jordan said about it's like it's not just like gore or like horror.
Yeah.
It's like the way it's boarded is like genuinely like terrifying in like a
right.
Because there's almost like it almost feels like there's points of like little comedy here and there.
Yeah.
But it like that adds to like how scary it is.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Off-putting. It's very weird.
Because you really couldn't believe it. Like, especially coming off last season when we literally just had everybody fighting for their lives together. You know what I mean? You really just cannot believe that this situation is going down right now. You know what I mean? It's just such a wild turn of events, just even for a loop, in my opinion. And I like how Again, the blue, they kind of did like a slight little fisheye lens thing with Anastasia in the close up, and I think it's
Yeah.
hilarious too how for months on end, chat would like send that image with no context, and I'm like, what does it even mean? Like, I thought you guys were like trolling me with like the blue people joke and all that good stuff, but like, no, it's genuinely terrifying, and I think the fisheye lens was a cool like little addition to do, because usually when I see it in other series like Bungo Stray Dogs especially, it's
Mhm.
always portrayed in a moment of like terrifying or like just unbelievable things going on. So but it works with ReZero because Anastasia is like, she's not necessarily freaking out, but what you're
Mhm.
watching is such a twisted thing going on that like they can depict it that way, and you kind of get like the vibe of what's going on. So I really like that. And then just leading into Subaru walking away. And I swear to God, man, you think you just can't get any worse, and then you see our favorite Earth Dragon of all time, getting some nuggets, man, some headshots even, you know.
Yeah.
And he's looking just grotesque and huge, and I'm like, what the heck? Like what is going on? Like, for the good minute, I was like, man, like he really kind of just like fucked up. I thought he ran. You know what I mean? Like I genuinely thought like he ran for a little bit, but no, and quote unquote vegetarian my ass. You know what I mean? And then we see Ram is a number 2 combo, and
She got a
then
headache.
yeah, she got a headache for real. And I like the last little bit with Subaru and how he's next, and they kind of depicted it with like a little bit of silence. It gives a little bit of shock factor how it kind of goes black screen for a brief second,
I
because you
love
don't
that.
know like
Yeah.
how the execution, and then it's just a clean headshot and then loop.
Oh yeah, I was talking about that
So
earlier. How I love the black screen hold after Patricia chomps him, because it makes you think like, oh, we're about to see him like respawn, right? But then it just
yeah.
cuts to his missing head. I was like, that's so cool.
Yep, and I think that's going to work out for anime reactors, especially because it's going to cause them to kind of like anticipate, and
Mm-hmm.
then it can give them like a really jarring reaction at once, rather than the whole thing playing out with momentum. It's good to kind of pause and edge for a little bit before throwing that execution out there. So that was a really good idea on the whoever decided that that pause was needed for a brief moment. That was really good, and yeah, loop. So all in all, I would just say before I even get to the second half, because you think it slows down, and it just doesn't. Jesus Christ! But all in all, the first half, part A of the episode, if that's all considered part A, was just. I mean, I think that's like a top 5 episode of like ReZero like ever. Like if I'm talking about choose me still being my favorite one of all time, take it into consideration of parent and child. Put this one up there. I mean. I gotta really thank, man, because it's been a while since I've been impressed with just how a ReZero episode was just overall directed the entire way through. Okay, and keyword entire way through, because I try to really kind of give things that have whole runtime consistency, some really strong push, but I was just impressed with just part A, and going into part B or whatnot. We get to the loop, and obviously, we get some clarification that the miasma is what was
Mm-hmm.
causing all that. It's like toxic gas or fear gas, essentially, scarecrow style. So we see that basically I think they went the right way. They need to go left, basically. Go left. Jesus Christ, go
Not going
left.
right again.
Yeah, not going right again. And of course, I thought for a brief second, they were gonna like mention like maybe we can just close off our gates, but no, that's kind of like death in ReZero. So, you know, we go left, and then of course, and another thing too is the fact that ReZero does 2 things really well: irony, and showing the impermanence of human nature. Of course, I always like to talk about in some of my own content how human nature it's a always consistent changing thing. You look at something like Villain Saga, how you go from angry hatred kid to I have no enemies. You know what I mean? And ReZero does it so well with loops, because you go with Subaru, being overly considerate, and they're like, why are you being overly considerate? And obviously he can't say, I just watch you, we just body each other in like 20 minutes ago. But it just shows how from such a god awful situation that when the slate is cleaned, you can do right. You know what I mean? And that's what we proceed with. And we're moving forward this time, and then and then we're moving forward, and we think that things are gonna work out this time, and then we get to an arena. Now, I will say this: my favorite cut of the episode was actually Subaru falling into the
Oh,
arena,
dude,
and
I
I
love
say
that one
that
too. Yeah.
because
It was
to
really
me
good.
it yeah I like it because to me it contrasts the cut in the OP with him falling down. With this time it's him falling forward, but you still get like that effect of like the wind, and then it kind of while he's falling, you also kind of get like the scale of the area he's in now.
Mhm.
It's really nicely conveyed and all that good stuff. And then we get to, I mean, what do you even call that thing, bro? It's like a centaur kind
Centaur.
of
Yeah, we could just call it a centaur for now.
yeah. And then I'm like, Jesus, like these events just, I mean, this is a god awful day, man. I thought like the witch cult situation was rough, but this is a god awful day, and it sucks that his checkpoint is there. But at this point, we're also catching up to primarily a good amount of the trailer footage as well. Obviously, a lot of it was kind of from the trailer. Him dodging. I do like the running cut as well.
Yeah.
Very good running cut. I'm getting the sense of like, it's just really nice, man. Like that was a really good running cut. The camera work of him just as he's wrapping around. Oh, hit my mic. I'm sorry. As he's wrapping around and just trying to dodge the flames. I'm assuming his cape has some flame resistance because that was some intense stuff. And then we get Ram coming down. Funny enough, Anastasia is nowhere to be found, but I guess that's probably for
What's
the
she
best
gonna do, man?
since she can't fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, since she can't fight. So I have to remember that because I'm like, where is she at? Like, can we get some help? But we get pretty much a lot of the trailer stuff going. I will say I was expecting like the Invis, like Providence and like the El Fula combo to do some more damage, but like, man, that Centaur is just tough. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Like
I'm
he
pretty
just really
sure.
brushed that off.
I'm
and
pretty sure
bodied
it,
them.
it did more damage in the anime than it did in the novels too. He got an upscale, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay. Well, shit, man. I mean, he was a tough guy. I'll
He
say
pulled him
that
to the
much.
ground and it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. That is true. And I was wondering, I was like, how's it gonna play? Like, I thought he was gonna like punch him. But no, that was pretty good move set. Combination there. I hope to see more of that type of stuff in the future. Just combinations in general. Because I like how it was executed. Like you kind of get like the one move and then you move forward, and then the second move, and then you kind of go towards the Centaur. So that was pretty good. But of course they get fucking bodied. No surprise there. I hate that I'm about to fucking say this because coming off last week, I was already like on her ass. But we get our, I guess, more proper introduction to our lovely new character, Shala. The LMG tap was crazy because all of a sudden you see it getting filled with holes, and it's just a machine gun coming at it in one taps. And Subaru looks to the left. Shala's pulling up. Ugh, God, man, I'm telling you, she's gonna have to put some serious work in to win me over, man. Let me tell you. Her outfit is ridiculous, man. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it, chat. Everybody's like, how I'm gonna fold the minute I see her outfit, chat. She killed an innocent child in episode 2. I'm not budging that easily, okay? She's going to have to go into triple. The only way Shala redeems with me is if her story is so tragic as to why she's in this tower, or if she bodies a Archbishop of Gluttony, okay? That's it, chat. That's it for me. But episode ends with Shala basically confirming her prey that she was hunting from last week. Last line of, I found you, pretty much. And then we get the ED this week. And surprisingly, the ED obviously is much more simpler than coming off of season 3. Season 3 had a lot of cool, like, it kind of went with like the cinematic kind of, black bars effect and all that good stuff. But honestly, it was good. I think the direction of it was just including, the black and white, and then the blood being the main kind of body of coloring, and then the eyes kind of
Those
being
shots were cool, yeah.
standout contrast. Yeah, that was cool, and I get, I mean, again, I just think it was fine. It's fine. Like, really, it was a solid ED. I think there's some foreshadowing with whatever Shala may be about. Looking at those pages being in the sky, it could depict that maybe she wants to be free of the tower. Maybe she can't be free quite yet. Maybe there's something keeping her there. I don't know. Last time we dealt with an area dealing with witches' remains, we kind of dealt with a bounded by situation where people literally cannot leave until the witches' trials were completed. I don't know what her story is about yet. Obviously, we're going to get to there. I'm sure by episode 3, it's probably going to fill in a lot more of that footage from the trailer. I assume 3 and 4 will pretty much cap off the main bulk of trailer footage and all that good stuff. But overall, I would say this was a 10 out of 10 episode, no exaggeration. I am pleased that ReZero's anticipation, because you guys don't, ReZero community, they don't do it often. They really don't, like, all things considered. I think that it's good that ReZero and our ReZero episode lived up to the anticipation and the hype. And I hope that if there is another one on the horizon, even if it's not as twisted, let it just be narratively that this episode director is able to come back and take in charge, because I am a fan. I am very much a fan. And that's it for me this week, chat.
It was a fantastic episode.
I'm happy.
That was great. Thank you for sharing like all your like perceptions and feelings about it. It's very interesting to hear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been doing my best to kind of, really, as I watch the episode, I take notes to kind of make sure the show that I'm paying attention, and I really try to put a lot of effort in with ReZero. I feel like, the anime community puts an effort with shonen, especially all year long. But like for these stories that really tell something special, looking at light novels, and you're always talking about, cut content versus what makes it in, and then additions. Light novels are a very interesting case, because I understand it's always going to be a question of what makes it in and what doesn't. And then if there is room for things to make it in, how do we fit this in there? And I think that among the light novel series that I watch, because I do keep up with things like Classroom of the Elite, Danmachi, Mushoku, ReZero, obviously. ReZero does a very, very good job, all things considered, even with what I know has been cut. I think it does a good job of getting the point across. I think it does a good job of emphasizing a lot of the the humane and inhumane aspects of the story. We're looking at certain characters, both our crew and archbishops, and then even with our characters like today, delving into the world of the inhumane. And I just, I'm again, Hamil, you guys are doing a fantastic job. I know it's you guys got a long year ahead of you guys, looking at the rest of this core and then the split for the rest. So, I wish you guys all the time and success in the world, because I can't even imagine what core 2 is going to have, and even the rest of the season. But just, I'm really curious what core 2 will look like, because I can imagine that the conflict with Shala and Reed, whatever may come, it's gonna come. And when it does, I'm curious to see how certain things will play out, and what other things you will tackle personally, Hamil. I will definitely be paying attention, to see, because I want to be able to pick your brain and be like, what made you want to tackle this scene, knowing what I know today. So I will be keeping an eye on you, buddy. I will be looking at the ballroom quite a bit these next couple of weeks.
The pressure is on, huh?
It is, man. I got my eyes, man. I got my eyes.
I did want to, because Hamil, after you spoke about like the comedy of the horror, I didn't really think about it until you put it that way. That's a good way to put it, because it made me think about like how I was talking about earlier, the Aridna cuts with like the really good character acting, where she's acting like kind of silly in an insane situation, and like tossing Aridna across the cave. And then it also made me think of the Patriche laugh, which I would not have expected in a million years, and I feel like on its face should be like a silly moment that this ground dragon is laughing at Subaru, but I think it's great. Like, I think it's awesome, and I had not considered that perspective until you brought it up. I thought that was a good read.
Well, I think all like great horror directors also are by nature good at comedy as well. Mm-hmm. There's like some sort of connection there. Like like Jordan Peele, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And even stuff like maybe like Uzumaki, the so-called holy grail of horror manga. I think it's just like the insanity of what is going on, and just the sheer amount of disbelief that can be injected into a scene, that it almost feels hysterical to be like, man, I really just sat here and witnessed this. You know what I mean? And just for our cast especially, You know, because I mean, again, I really just didn't think that Subaru had it in him. You know, I genuinely thought that, and you know, and this isn't to say that his character regressed this episode or anything like that. You know, it's just like, again, human nature is
Yeah.
so constantly changing. It can change to your worst enemy under the wrong and right circumstances, and ReZero has a way of managing to push those buttons and then pull it back, and it's not inoffensive narratively, because that's how Return by Death is structured within the story for Subaru. You know what I mean? We might get to a point where Emilia might lose her shit and body somebody by accident. You know what I mean? Who knows? You know, we might get to a point where Beatrice might put Emilia in the Shadow Realm where the White Rabbits are one day, if they ever get into it, and Puck might come back and fight. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many things about ReZero that keeps you on your toes with this cast, and it just goes to show that no matter how long this story goes, no matter how much stuff they go through, you know, people are always going to be able to turn against each other under the circumstances that they are, and that just, you know, that's what makes ReZero such a very captivating story when you get episodes like this, especially. So I guess the real question I have is, you know, what the hell was Tappei on, you know, coming up with this? Because my goodness, you know, I just can't imagine him sitting in a room one day and was like, man, I'm going to draw Subaru choking out Ram, and then I'm going to, you know, make Anastasia stab her, but then I'm going to make Anastasia get sliced in half and then killed by our, you know, Earth Dragon. It's like, man, what a mind, you know what I mean? Like, what a mind to, yeah, what a mind to just watch unfold in real time. But that's the beauty of it all, right? You know, light novels can go in depth and above and beyond with all that narrative writing and descriptions, and that's what makes it work.
In the first meeting I had with the episode director for this episode, the way he introduced like the theme of the episode to me is, he actually said this episode is about hope. He didn't say it's like, oh, this is a horror episode, or it's like, you know, it's going to be very crazy or anything like that. Actually, he said this episode is about the goodness of human nature. It's a little difficult to translate, but
right,
it's kind of on the lines of that.
Right.
And
I love that
I
perspective.
can believe it. Yeah.
That's like his thought process on it. It's like, yes, all these horrifying things but happen in the episode, but the focus is actually like how you actually, as a human being, like you actively suppress all those things in order to be like a good person, even though those things are within you.
Oh, I completely agree.
Right. And that's why I said that I don't necessarily feel like this episode, you know, should be looked at as like Subaru regressing or anything. You know what I mean? Because he has made a lot of progress as a character in this world. And in looking at last season, you know, he had his speech. He helped Amelia out, beat Regulus and everything, you know, and now he's here doing what he can with Rem. And those are all fantastic things, especially looking at how far he's come from season 1. However, you know what I mean? It does not change the fact that no matter how far these characters go, like you said, Hamil, it's still in them. You know what I mean? And that's just human nature 101. Everybody's got something that everybody's got demons that they don't want to come out, but they will come out. And ReZero builds environments and captivates environments, or you know, they establish environments that allow these things to come out. And even if it's just, you know, under a quick microscope for a couple of minutes, because Return by Death is always going to be the vehicle that allows them to kind of fix that low moment for these characters.
Yeah,
and you know, that's why they can get away with going deep into these horrifying moments.
There's a reason why, like, the first thing that happens as soon as Subaru respawns is that, like, Ram immediately helps him. Like, immediately helps him puke up his guts because he had a rough night. Yeah. And that's why also the episode ends with Ram standing up ready to literally take the hit for this dude. It's because, like, while they have all of these underlying anxieties, all these underlying thoughts that do exist, like, it's not that I'm afraid some people somewhere might misinterpret the miasma as, like, creating problems. Because that's not what it did. These are things that do exist within them because they're people. But at the end of the day, like, these guys still love each other, man. Ram was ready to ride or die for this guy.
That's true. Exactly. That's like true. Literally ready to risk their lives for each other. at the end of the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah,
That
and I think that's also like a good thing about fantasy anime too, and all that good stuff. You know, they always have like this idea of like party members, right? You look at stuff like Free Run, stuff like that. You know, even Mushoku, for example. You know, this idea of parties, and you know, they're always ready to fight for each other, but there are episodes where you know people get very very angry with each other. You know, sometimes it's just a really rough situation looking at you know whatever they may be going through, but at the end of the day it all you know it's always reined back
Yeah.
in you know to do the right thing amongst each other. And you know just hearing how at the beginning of the episode Ran was like, you know, why didn't you grab my sister, and then at the end of the episode she was like, you know, my sister would be sad, you know, if you were to die here today, you know what I mean. And then you get to
Mhm.
you know MOG Shala coming in with the clutch, but you know that like that stuff, you know, it just speaks to you. It really does speak to you. And you know, as crazy as Rizio can get, man, it really is such a human story at the end of the day. And it just, you know, I mean, hey man, to pay he's got it, man. He's got that damn pen. I got to give it to him because this was a highlight for him, for me personally, in a very long time. Very long time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thematically, it's just like incredible.
Yeah.
It's not like he's just writing gore because gore is fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's actually it's actually like there's such a profound overarching theme that
Mhm.
really stands out. That's why
Yeah.
this episode is like really I think it's like really special to me as well. Just like that process going into it and working on it with that in mind and just being like a fan of the work as well.
Mhm.
Right.
It's just really cool to see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can imagine that, you know, episodes like this, today's like this, you know, it feels like a good triumph. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, you know, you walk away feeling like you did that. And y'all certainly did, man. Y'all certainly did. I mean, I think personally, you know, we've had a lot of premieres going out left and right, you know, from Wish Hat, Marriage Toxin, you know. But this to me is the first episode this season where I'm like, you know, first maybe first or second episode where I'm like, this is something that if I were to make a video and talk about you know spring anime recap, this would be the episode where I'm like, you know, ReZero season 403 was something to talk about, you know, and I think that's a job well done on you guys' part. So again, hats off to you, Hamil. Hats off to you.
Yeah. I'm not sure if, because I feel like I've heard in the past that animators need like explicit confirmation to be able to talk about the work that they've done in an episode. Is that true?
To talk about it, not necessarily.
Mm.
I mean, maybe it's a thing in some places, but the
Yeah.
reason people usually don't talk about it is just, I guess before it was more of like a professional courtesy. It's like,
Mm.
I guess you don't,
Yeah.
you know, animation it's a team sport, so you don't
Right. Yeah.
you don't ever act like you did something
Mhm.
because you didn't do it by yourself. It's like hundreds of people are touching
Mhm.
those cuts before
Yeah.
you know it's ready to be seen. But these days it's not like that big of a deal. Like people aren't so, I guess you could say, anal about it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people talk
I
about
definitely
stuff
get
all the time.
Yeah, I definitely get that because you know, especially when you look at something like MHA, I feel like you know every day or every episode of MHA, you had tons and tons and tons and tons of the Bones crew be like, "Hey, I participated here," and then you got like people like Hirota just straight up dropping like his LO or like his boards and stuff like that, and then you know I feel like that's been a much more common thing these days of just seeing people kind of you know especially drop their
Hmm.
storyboards and stuff on the timeline and just be like, "Hey, this is what I did." You know what I mean? Granted, of course, you know, a lot of those times maybe them being, you know, solo key animating stuff like that. But even then, there's plenty of stuff where it's like a group effort and they put it out there, you know. But I have seen, you know, some cases where it's like, you know, you gotta kind of ask, you know, because I've seen some animators kind of preface their tweets like I got permission to post,
Mhm.
so I had to feel, you know, you get that feeling like they've gone through some type of channel to be like, hey, can I share this, you know, online for the you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
enthusiasm of fans, for the Western fans, all that good stuff. So, you know,
If you're
but
posting materials,
That's
you
different. Yeah.
definitely have to
yeah,
ask. Or I mean, there's like some boneheads will not add, and they can't. They're not like in any sort of danger of legal repercussions because they're not in Japan.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like there are some
Yeah.
boneheads who do that, and then they like post in their Discord servers too, like, hey,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
you're really not supposed to do that. If you post
Yeah.
something, you
That's
100%
funny.
need permission. But if you're just talking about it, if you're saying like, oh, I worked on this part of the episode, it's really these days it's really not a big deal. You can, and pretty much it's okay. Nobody's gonna have a problem with anybody who does that.
Hmm. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
there's just some people in the chat who are asking if you would like to give confirmations on stuff that you worked on. If you don't, that's fine. Don't feel pressured to do it. They'll fucking deal with it. But
No, it's totally fine. I mean, it's not,
okay.
you can do that. I mean, first of all, though, like, I just want to say that the person who did um, like the parts where Ram is getting choked out,
Hmm.
hmm
and all the way up until like she gets backstabbed, and then the acting on Anna, that was
hmm
done by Kinoshita-san, and
Okay.
he I just want to highlight him because his stuff is like the for me it's like the standout of the episode. It's
hmm
I think he did an absolutely stellar job, and especially that one cut where she's like Rem is like kicking her feet and reaching for her
Yeah.
wand. It's
hmm
absolutely incredible.
It's
He's
really good.
Right.
he's like Kinoshita-san. He usually doesn't do like this kind of stuff, but the episode director he told him to like don't hold back, you can just go all out, don't worry about
Nice.
the number of drawings or whatever, we'll handle it, but this
Right.
part we want you to go to your maximum limit. And it's absolutely crazy to see like that some animators they just have that in them, but they usually hold back because of because they're trying to be considerate about efficiency, production circumstances.
Hmm.
Right.
But if you like, he's not a famous animator or anything, but there are so many
hmm
people like that in the industry where if you just give them the green light, they could
Right.
actually do something insane. They have that in them.
Hmm.
But many
Right.
many people are just very humble.
Right.
So
I
he
I
he did
believe it.
that scene, and he was like just absolutely incredible.
That is a
Right.
great scene.
As for my part is well, I did like a few different things in the episode, but I
Mhm.
guess like the main one is the part like from the moment that Anna gets cut
hmm
up until um up until the black screen, up until like the last cut with
Oh, really?
Patrash having chomped on his Han Subaru's head, and then up until like that part, and then the black screen. That was the first section that I was kind of handling.
Damn, dude, you did the gnarliest one. That's crazy.
Yeah, for
Oh
real.
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to do that. I kind of pushed for that.
Oh man. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I That was a great section,
Yeah,
dude.
For
that's
for
pretty freaking sweet.
I did selfishly kind of like as soon as I saw the storyboard come out, I asked Hara-san. It was like, can I take this?
Right. He's like, sure,
It's
man. Go knock
the
yourself
the
out.
reason the reason is like that scene is I might never get to draw something like that again
Yeah.
in my career.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That it's like
Oh.
these like fight scenes and like action stuff. These are like a dime a dozen, to be honest.
True.
I'm
Mhm.
probably
True.
gonna do
Especially
like
look.
yeah, I'm probably gonna do like 100 more of them before I
Right.
retire. But
Right.
that scene is like it's such a unique experience.
Right.
Like I said, I probably won't ever get to draw something like that
Mhm.
again. So no matter what happens in season 4, I think that part will always be like, in totality, this is like probably gonna be like what I'll always remember about working on ReZero, because the
Yeah.
content is just so unique.
You
I
and everyone else who worked on that, dude. It's I still think about it. That whole sequence from Anna getting cut in half to like getting tossed. It's powerful because that shit is nuts.
Yeah,
Oh man, it was
I'm actually
so much
I'm actually
fun.
quite glad to hear you say that, Ammo, personally,
Yeah.
because a lot of animators get associated with certain things, right? You know what I mean? You hear how like Nakamura, he's kind of like the power, like charge and release kind of guy, the Utapon cubes, for example, all that good stuff. But what they're actually known for, and technically good at doing, versus what they set out to make an impact with, or are more interested in, can really be night and day. And I think a lot of people at this moment
Hmm.
definitely associate you with action, but rightfully so. Rightfully so. Of course, all things considered, looking at season 3 and all that good stuff. But just hearing that you really sought to kind of leave a good mark on ReZero anime history with this particular cut in this episode, like it goes to show that, like, hey, what people are good at doing or maybe known for in the anime community, they got more than one ace up their sleeve. You know what I mean? Or more than one interest in their sleeve. You know what I mean? And that's really good to hear, because I think people definitely need to hear that more often, because a lot of time, I mean, 9 times out of 10, all we can do is just assume based off of, the Boru and looking at the streak of output. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, they look at like One Piece animators, and they might think like everybody, wants to do Gear 5, and I've heard that might be the case, but you never know. Like some people might just want to animate like a Shank scene, or like a cool like Megumi Shitani storyboarded scene. It just really depends. You know what I mean? So I think it's good to definitely hear
Hmm.
just a different, like, hey, like this is what I really wanted to push for today, despite everything that may be coming or I've done. This is what I really wanted to push for. And I think that's good to hear. So yeah,
Yeah,
man.
and I don't mind like doing action at all. It's like
Mhm.
Mhm.
if that's what I do for my career, it's totally cool. It's fun to like draw fights and stuff. But sometimes animators, I guess, they do get kind of pigeonholed into like
Yeah.
certain specific like specialties.
Mhm.
But the real in most cases, like if an animator is good at one thing, they're probably good at everything.
That's
It's
right.
because it's so fundamental. Being like a good animator in this industry is just so based on like fundamentals.
Mhm.
Yep.
If your fundamentals are good, then you can basically draw any sort of scene. At least that's in my opinion, that's like the mark of a great animator. And a lot of the
Yeah.
animators that I respect, they can adapt to any production, any content, any scene seamlessly.
Right. And I,
And
and I think that's a very important thing to hear, because I think one of the biggest gripes I personally have, especially with like people who either, I mean, more so like leakers slash like people who claim to be self-proclaimed animation enthusiasts, if you will, is that when they see a big animator, like for instance, Vincent, I think about last anime season, in the winter season, he came by to the Invisible Guy and the Blind girl rom-com anime, and everybody was like, why is Vincent here? You know what I mean? Like, he should go do something action-wise. You know what I mean? But it's like, the man can go wherever he wants to go. You know what I mean? He can do whatever he wants to do
I
if the
didn't know that happened.
content
That's funny.
fits. Yeah, like he literally came by this. Don't get me wrong. I understand why people may think it's out of the blue, considering he was on Wano for like damn near 2 years straight, and then he swung by ReZero, and he's been here and there and all over the place, I'm sure, now lately. But my thing is that, like, you can't treat animators like trading cards. You know what I mean? They're going to go where not only where the opportunity is, but where they feel like they can make that impact for themselves. And sometimes it may be on a rom-com anime doing some brief character animation, or just like a crazy little dance scene. Sometimes it may be on action, pinnacle action like Gear 5 or something like that. Or it may just be on like a movie, or like, a quick OVA. It just depends. You know what I mean? But it's definitely important for people to just kind of keep in mind that, like, these people can go where they choose to. I understand that at the end of the day, when it comes to like the source material and pinnacle moments, everybody's going to want to put together their all-star staff list, but that's just sometimes it's not how it works. it's the reality of the situation, and it's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's fine. You know, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it is like kind of a topic in the industry. Just I guess what word to use, like the proliferation of like animator names, and then
Yeah.
Yep.
names being associated with like star power on certain
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, to like industry people, to like actual animators, it's just absolute nonsense. It's like that's
Yeah.
not that's not what makes a good episode at all. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is like people, animators, they all have like stuff that they want to do, and they're if they for the most part, the people who are really good, if they whatever they are interested or want to do, they can go seek it out. And sometimes, in many cases, a lot of guys, they're just interested in doing like the shonen stuff and the really cool action scenes. And those are the people who their names are get quite, well known online.
Yeah.
But there are hundreds of animators that most people probably have never heard about, but
Mm.
they don't work on like very popular titles. They don't have social media
Yep.
followings, but they're some of the best in the industry. But you will never hear about them because they don't,
Hmm.
they're probably just doing some normal work at some corner of some studio. They go home to their families. They don't care about being online and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So there is like this kind of a bit of a bubble in like, especially the Sakuga Twitter sphere, where there does tend to be a lot of misconception about
Hmm.
like who are the main guys in the industry. It's like
The
who's
big
doing
three.
like
Yeah.
who are the people that we need on our production. It's like very it's very funny to look at sometimes, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not at all how it works. Most of the best animators in the industry are like people who you never heard of, and they're just tucked away at the corner of the studio just minding their own
Hmm.
business.
Hmm. I saw.
Yeah.
I was talking about this last stream too, because obviously I was part of the MHA community for a while, and it was like during the last season, I would see people always complaining, like, "Where is Nakamura? Where is Nakamura?"
Nakamura. Yep.
And it's like,
Yep.
dude, fucking, it's time to get over it, man. Like, there's so many other people
Yeah.
working on this, and they're making
Right.
like the best season they made in a long time, even though he's not there. So surely we can accept that he's not here
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah. And that's like the worst thing too. I hate that, like how some productions kind of some animes kind of get like crutched on, like if animator is not there equals bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes they could be working on something else, and you literally had like, we not only did we have a lot of like I want to say like we had a lot of core staff for MHA just really pushing it, but Hirota had a very great output, especially with the big Bakugo episode. Vincent, surprisingly, by the grace of God, came by after the season 5 stuff. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
which surprised me, because I wouldn't blame him for coming back after how the internet took it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, we had a good season. We had Sugita come back and did the do like climaxes and stuff like that. He did the final Deku punch, I'm pretty sure, with him and Shigaraki on All For One. We had a lot of good people. And sometimes instead of like one giant Lego that pretty much completes the structure, it's like 1,000 Legos that also will make that structure. You know what I mean? But people all, the way we talk about animation these days is just so bad. It really is so bad, because everybody is just so, not everybody, but a large chunk of the overall momentum of the conversation is always focusing on big names and how many second key A's there are, because people associate high second key A count with stress production. And sometimes that is the case. We saw with JJK season 2. Other times it's just a lot of ambitious scenes that need to be finished, and they just, they're getting a lot of people to help clean up certain corrections and certain cuts and stuff like that, but it just requires more people. You know what I mean? But these leakers who
Yes.
go around dropping staff lists, months and weeks ahead of time, they don't convey that. They just, they drop it. People go looking for the big names. Everybody takes the leakers' opinions for face opinion, and then there's no nuance. The nuance of Sakuga conversation has been stripped, and a lot of it, unfortunately, has been stripped because of leak culture, but especially because of how the anime community scales like high action episodes now. It's always a competition to see who can outdo who, which is why I'm glad that MHA bowed out when it did, because for the next couple of years now we got to watch Kagurabachi whenever that
Oh
airs
shit,
versus
yeah.
Chainsaw Man versus the last little bit of JJK versus whenever Demon Slayer decides to finally freaking wrap up. You know what I mean? And that's going to be like the next decade of shonen conversation. It's just those 4 series going back to back to back over who has the best cuts, who has the best CGI. And it just loses so much nuance, man. Like we get so far away from what's actually like constructive with all this animation talk. It's just like, man, I after MHA ended, I was like, y'all got it, because I cannot go another decade. I'm glad that the world, even if World Trigger with this reboot it gets popular, I'm glad that at least for the first 3 seasons, it's a very like niche thing in the West, because I had normal experiences talking about that series. So, you know, it's just like, man, you really don't know how crazy it is until you walk away and just observe how people talk about seasonal anime these days. It's not only is it too much anime coming out, but even so, you've got too much high profile anime in the same season. You're asking for just nonsense to go along all year long. And this season, you know, is no better. You know, you got Damon's in one corner, you got ReZero in this corner. You know, it's just a lot, But
I think
yeah,
you said it very well. It's kind of like a weird development. The whole like hype culture, leak culture,
Mhm.
and Sakuga culture. It's like it's nice to see like people talking about this kind of stuff, but it also leads to a lot of, I guess, weirder aspects of it as well.
yeah,
And personally, I don't like I mean, this is actually crazy hypocritical of me to say because I'm literally right here talking to you guys right now, but I don't like the celebrification, like
I was,
celebrityfication
yeah.
of
I've been
animators.
I've been thinking about this like this whole conversation. I was like, it's really interesting how animators are like they're on like celebrity lists now, man. Like they,
yeah,
whether they like it or not, they get a platform now. Like they can't just like
yeah,
chip away.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
that to me is especially to the extent that like some of the most popular people, the way that they're like how much influence, like how much following they
Mhm.
have, it's like it is very weird because it's like
y-
because I also watch like NBA basketball, and then sometimes I feel like my worlds are like colliding.
yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you.
That is
That I can
crazy.
definitely hear you. Yeah. Especially people like, man. I mean, just looking at a lot of the One Piece staff, especially, you know, I can't imagine how it feels to be like Vincent, knowing that like everybody is always barking about him every day. You know,
Yeah.
I saw like Megumi Ishitani, like the minute she stepped outside with episode 1015 for One Piece, I knew people were gonna be like, you know, please come animate my show, please come animate my show, and then, you know, they blame her for certain things, and it's like she's not even in charge of certain things. You know what I mean? You know, she's really like a you know, dice roll. You know, it's been a while since she's done anything. You know what I mean? But people are always like, hey, can you come do my show? And you know, and then they have to use a translator app to try to get stuff across. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, if we could just slow down, you know, but it comes with the competitiveness of these adaptations, man. You know, the more output people are, these high profile animators are able to produce on these series of all time, the more their name becomes attached to it, and the more their name becomes attached to it, you know, you have react, because it's a weird thing too, because I feel like now even I've seen reactors try to, you know, remember studio names and talk about certain animators, and I'm like, this is starting to get to a point,
Mm.
you know what I mean? Because reactors 10 years ago, they didn't care about names and like, you know, stuff like that. At least for me growing up, you know what I mean? Like it was just like, man, that was a really cool cut. Now they're actually like recognizing who's doing stuff. You know what I mean? And that's how I know, like, when they get on social media and they see people talk about stuff, and then they see how certain leakers and stuff like that are pointing out who did what cut. That's how you know that the culture behind animation discussion has really changed, because people are able to recognize a lot more than they used to be, for better or for worse. You know what I mean? And the celebrification of it is definitely the worst, because now it's like, again, when it comes to big episodes, especially in the future, if you are an animator that's been on a series for a long term and is not there for those big moments, people act like they can't cope with other staff. They don't know how to work with other staff, and it also is an insult because it sometimes feels like they're diminishing the fact that at the end of the day, it's a team effort. Sure, you can have like Nakamura storyboarding stuff like that, but he can't clean up and create everything on his own. Like Hamil, I know you haven't seen the movie yet, but the Nakamura climax for the MHA fourth movie, he storyboarded primarily a lot of that final section versus him kind of, just key animating a lot of it and having that assistance behind him. So,
Mm.
it really goes to show that, if Nakamura can put the blueprint out there, people can follow that vision. But, they're
Quantum
not really
Mixer, you're a
talking
fucking
about
idiot, man.
who
Shut up.
helped put it together. They're just hearing Nakamura's storyboard and that's it. And it's unfortunate because, it's a ginormous team effort to keep up with somebody like Nakamura, especially when he does so much with smears, and then the way he depicts colors when something is essentially warming up, charging up, powering up kind of deal. You got the cubes, and it's just a lot for somebody like him. So you can't even imagine how it is for like insanely storyboarded episodes for somebody like Megumi Shitani and stuff like that. And it's just we just get animation conversation has just gotten so lost in the sauce. I genuinely fear for how it's going to look over these next 10 years as we enter a new age of shonen adaptations, especially because I can't imagine it's just going to get better anytime soon. The Japan got a first nuke, you know, and again, it's funny. It's also hypocritical because I won't sit here and say that I didn't kind of tune in on leak culture for a while. I was in college once and I wanted to be there with everybody at one time, but they got to get a wrap on these leakers first, man. It does not get better until you get a wrap on these dudes and get them out of here because they are the biggest offender to the Western problem, especially. They keep putting stuff out there weeks in advance, like how, we found out about Bocce and where they're going, like almost like a year and a half ago now, like 2 years now. You know what I mean? We shouldn't have known that
Yeah,
probably,
it
but
is
it's
kind
out
of
there.
interesting how I mean I could be wrong because I am a fucking American. What do I know? It does seem like Japanese communities have a much more unified front against leaks, and the most I've ever seen that replicated is Kagurabachi in terms of the manga. Apparently, the anime that ship has already fucking sailed. Apparently, but like
Yeah.
the manga community hates leakers.
Yeah.
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 Well, I mean,
Eh,
leaking culture is not a thing in Japan because you'll actually get into real trouble if you
That's
leak
true.
Yeah.
stuff.
That's true.
Leaking
Yeah.
culture is like it exists because there's no real legal way to do anything. I mean, if the leakers are overseas, like
Yeah.
there's nothing you can. I mean, if Kadokawa wants to like I don't know, hire like a mercenary to go to ISIS house and like threaten his family or something. Like that's like the only. Other than that, there's like no way to actually to like do anything about it. So it's kind of
Yeah.
just a thing now, unless you're like a
Yeah.
very tightly capped studio with everything's very internal. Then maybe you can prevent that to a certain extent. But most productions have like a huge these days are incorporating like some semblance of overseas outsourcing freelancers and
Mhm.
whatnot.
Yep. And
There's
that's
no way to
dangerous.
keep there's just no way to keep things contained.
Yeah.
I
So
And
it's
think
just there and it's part of the discourse now.
I,
yeah.
I think the way I see it, and this may be like unfortunate because I've kind of like already given up the fight. It's like I think that leaks are unfortunately going to exist, and there's nothing we can do about them. I wish that these people would probably like keep it in their own circles, not post them on Twitter. Is really how I feel about it right now.
Yeah.
Or
and,
like,
and
I think that's
it's also really
reasonable.
interesting too because like I remember like I know like one thing about Bones is, for example, is that like they really kind of keep stuff like in their, like they're like a tight knit family. You know what I mean? They spent a lot of people may not know, but they spent all these years of MHA to train a lot of new staff, and now you see they fired off all four cylinders with Gotcha, Marriage Toxin. They got another Fate Rewinder coming out soon with same director of Kekai Sensen, and then they got what's the other anime they're doing? Oh, Damon's. You know what I mean? But that's all because they spent so much time keeping in house all these years, and
Mhm.
you never really saw Bones like really have a bunch of like foreign talent, and I can't blame them. But even then, you know what I mean? MHA episodes were getting leaked online ahead of time, and remember season 6 also, premiere night. That episode was on Twitch getting
Dude,
streamed, and
I
it's like
fucking
how, you know what I mean?
well,
That's crazy.
I don't know. This might be a bad thing to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I remember fucking Pineapple watched the season 4 finale like 2 days before it aired.
Yeah, and I'm like, who is getting
I was like,
him?
what the hell, man?
Like, who is getting them this stuff, man? It's just crazy to me. And it's like I can't even say like fully at home base, like everybody is like 100% unified. It might be like 98%, but it's that one person who just so happens to get their hand on it. And once they make contact with leakers and get money going, I mean, it's a matter of like, you know, shame at that point. Do you care enough to disrespect these people constantly by leaking their stuff every week, or are you in it for the bag? And 99.9% of the time, it's unfortunately the
Yeah,
bag. But I mean,
that's why
like you said, it
like
is
I
what
said,
it is.
I think it's here. There's not much we can do about it, unfortunately. I wish people like kept it between themselves because I know sometimes leaks start just because like animators want to talk to their pals about stuff they're working on, and it's just like, I understand that too. So I'd rather people just like keep it in house, not post it on sites with algorithms like Twitter or YouTube where it'll be offered up to thousands and thousands of people. John Show, if you're listening, you're a fucking dumbass, by the way. It's just like,
There are
it's
levels.
not good.
There are levels to it. I mean, leaking is leaking.
Yeah,
Obviously, can't condone it, but there there are certainly levels to it.
yeah,
I think
Yeah,
some guys have a little more tact about it, but there are like other people who are literally just demons. Just like the only thing that enters their brain and exits their brain is clout and followers. And those
yeah,
types are like the people who like keep it relatively low key. They're really not, if I'm being honest, they're really not doing that much damage.
hmm,
Ultimately, like those spheres are kind of like their own bubbles,
hmm,
and most of general audiences aren't involved. So it's not that big of a deal. Certainly, like nobody on the production like really cares or knows about
hmm.
them even. But like there are other leakers who are genuinely like they'll sell their mother's social security number for like 5, 10 more followers or something.
I
They
know, dude.
those people are the ones who are like truly dangerous.
It's
yeah,
bad, dude. Some of these people are fucking insane, man.
yeah. I mean, when you look at the era of Black Clover, JJK, and MHA leaks, and how that was an entire monopoly of getting the magazine early by paying
Dude.
somebody in Japan to get
Oh
them
my
the scans
god.
early, and then you would lead to staying up in the middle of the night to get the chapter title and information, only for it to be like 2 or 3 mistranslations in the middle of that, and then you get to Sunday, and like all that discourse you had on leak night is gone. You know what I mean? Or like when JJK's final chapter came out and literally like the first 2 pages dropped and then nothing else dropped. So everybody heard like the most just discombobulated summary of the final
Yeah.
JJK chapter. Like that to me is the most offensive thing I have ever like. Again, I've been through MHA leaks, I've been through Black Clover leaks, but that final JJK chapter fiasco is by far the most
Dude,
offensive thing I have ever seen in my like 16 years of being an anime fan. I
I
had
mean,
never seen a final chapter go out like that in my life.
both of you
Like,
probably know what I'm talking about. Like, you guys remember when there was like this brief period of time, this might have been like 2 or 3 years ago now, where there was just like randomly people started posting like low quality images of unreleased episodes? I don't even know how that
yep,
started. Like, it seems gone now, but
Mhm.
like, I don't even know how the fuck that started.
yeah, and it was real. I mean, I was like, hold on,
Yeah,
like,
and I'm like, dude, why are we doing?
like where's this
Why are
coming
we?
from?
Why are we doing this?
Yeah,
Sorry, I know why we're doing it. We're doing it for Twitter likes, but it was a rhetorical question.
yeah. It's like, man, oh man,
Yeah, not much you can do about it. But that like the leaking is just like a small part of like all kinds of weird stuff that's going on
Yeah.
right now in terms of, I guess, from the animator perspective. It's like, why exactly are animators like treated in like this way these days?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a million different reasons, but at the end of the day, everybody on the production is just a cog in the machine,
Yeah.
and everybody
Oh,
has a different role. It's not like, well, we have this super animator, so they're inherently more important to the production than other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that that person has a role as well, and their role is probably to handle the, climax
Mm-hmm.
action scene of the episode. But at the end of the day, it's just, you come in and you do your job, but it's in no way like the vast majority of time, it does not indicate like the quality of an episode, like who you
Yeah.
have on it. So that's why the like, you know, staff names and stuff being leaked earlier is kind of like it's almost always like misleading and not really a representation of, what's to come in terms of quality.
Mm-hmm.
right.
I mean, the previous episode of ReZero, 68, that's like completely in-house at the White Fox Izukogen studio.
Mm-hmm.
All of those people are very new animators. Well, except for like a couple of them,
Yeah.
Ogawa-san and yeah, those guys have been around for a while. But by in most parts, that's like a very new team. People who are just like trainees not too long ago,
Mm-hmm.
still like learning how to do doga and stuff. And they're just breaking into the industry. And that episode's very good in terms
Yeah.
of quality.
Yeah.
It looks totally acceptable by ReZero standards. It's a really strong episode with good direction, but you don't need like some super animator to show up on your show to make
Yeah.
good episodes and a good ultimately a good series. That's where there's
Yep.
kind of like quite a bit of disconnect, I feel like.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, it's just really gotten out of hand, especially with shonen. And unfortunately, that's like the demographic that has the world in a grip all year long. So all you need to do is spread it within the shonen realm, and it's just gonna plague everything else. I don't think people necessarily hang that level of expectations or thought process over things like slice of life and comedy anime, but stuff like fantasy anime, shonen anime, people are always looking to see like, okay, who's here, what cuts have they done, and then if person on said episode has good output from said popular series equals this episode is going to be a banger. But like you said, that's not always true. You know what I mean? Nakamura could be on an episode and he can do like a quick like 5 second little animation thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if Space Dandy were to come out today, you know what I mean, Hamil? Like if something like Space Dandy were to come out today, I feel like people would really try to like understand how it's not always just about the action. Like people just want to be creative and have fun and just create things that are unforgettable. And it's unfortunate that we don't have anime like Dandy or even though Shampoo's more down to earth, but like Shampoo, because it's those two anime in particular have really engraved themselves on anime history for just being like creative, passion projects that really just stood out for that that early 2000s era. But now it's just like it's just you know how it is, you know how it is.
Yeah, I mean the objective is to make a good work, not to get good clips for Twitter. But
Yeah,
Sakuga culture is like it's like I never expected it to get this like crazy. I never expected like Sakuga culture to get to the point where genuinely there are like hundreds of thousands of people who just consume an anime just from viral clips on Twitter.
It's true.
And
Yeah.
It's true.
they have like no idea if the show is actually even good or not, but like the way they spread the media and the way part of it is probably because of Elon and he like monetized
Yeah.
being able to have a blue check mark and get money and stuff like this. But it's like short form content is king.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if you just post a lot of anime clips, you'll probably be able to make money, which is crazy to like think
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
But
no,
that's like
That's how it is.
I've been talking
Yeah,
about through
it's
season
weird.
3 and season 4. I was like, dude, if you want ReZero to hit the mainstream again, and I'm not saying this is like it's a good thing that it's like this. Gotta have clips, bro. That's just how it is. People consume things through clips. If they have one silly digestible clip, they're gonna come running, and that's what the aura monster was in the OP. It seems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really was, man. All it takes is one.
Yeah.
Something crazy. And especially in an OP when that's like people's like first kind of major batch of anything at all. You know what I mean? And ReZeros this year just like, again, last season was already a good OP, but like they really came swinging this year with the rotational sequence and falling down the tower and
Oh my god, I
the
love the
action in
OP.
the desert, the
So
Shala
good.
moment, like everything just connected so well, and and then you put Aura Monster as the icing on the cake too. Like you're just asking for people to get hyped. You know what I mean? And it worked. It worked. ReZero has been putting belt to ass so far this spring season, and it's not. And I wasn't expecting it because you got like Damon's the Shadow Realm with Arakawa coming back, which is like that's a goat in manga history right there. And then you got Witch Hat looking at that too. And I was like, ReZero is gonna have to, have some competition, but it's been putting belt to ass for 3 weeks now. You know what I mean? I'm
As
like,
soon as I saw that opening, first of all, I was like, oh my god, this is one of the best things I've ever seen. And then second of all, I was like, ReZero's back, and like this is gonna go triple platinum, and it did, because it's
it
fantastic.
did. Yep.
Yeah. And the opening is like genuinely compelling. It's very
Yeah.
it's good. You can't just have like some very popular clips and then people are gonna come and suddenly start watching the
Mhm.
anime and being invested. Like you need to make a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think they did a good job like matching the energy, especially of the song too. I feel like the part where it just goes from Subaru falling and then the vocals lift up and it's the rotating Subaru sequence of him dying around. That energy was just perfectly matched with the visuals, and if you can just meet that bare minimum of just making sure that the energy of a song is being met with the visuals, I mean, you can go far. But the ReZero team, I mean, you guys went farther than I think anybody was expecting, and now it's just about maintaining that momentum. You got, what is it, episode 3? What are we? Wait, what are we? 8 more episodes, right, for Core 1 this first half.
Yeah.
And just
Mhm.
8 more weeks, and then you guys get a little cool down, reset, and then you're back at it again. But I'm sure you guys will be back on it, regardless of the split. It's more so a break for us than a break for you guys. But
Thanks for watching my episode videos, Hamil. I appreciate it. It was definitely not like top 3 most shocking things I've ever heard in my life.
Dude, no, seriously.
Oh,
Dude.
come on, man. It's like I like your videos, man. It's like I mean, it feels like genuine. Like you're not. It feels like you don't really have any sort of agenda, and you're just like giving a unique perspective on it. And I like to watch those kinds of videos, especially when it comes to ReZero. But I also don't have a lot of like in terms of like criticism, I don't
Mhm.
have a lot of skin in the game. I don't know what the saying is, but like if people have complaints about the episode, nobody's gonna be like, "Oh man, the action supervisor, he's messing everything up, man." It's like,
Yeah, like halfway through the episode 4 video, I'm gonna be like, man, Hamil really fucked this one.
typically that doesn't happen. So I don't like if I consume like media about ReZero online, I don't necessarily have to worry about like suddenly just getting flamed for no reason. If I was like director or something or character designer, it would be a totally different story because you have to watch out everywhere. People are gonna be saying all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I try. Well, first of all, like 9 times out of 10, I try to avoid talking about specific names. One, because I'm fucking uneducated. I don't know anything. So, like, what do I know to start talking about actual people? Second of all, is because, for better or for worse, I do have a platform, and I don't want people to, like, take shit too far.
Yeah, it would be I mean, yeah, it's a great mentality to have, and I appreciate it a lot.
I appreciate you saying I don't have an agenda, man. If you have someone on Twitter, that's not correct. That's,
Are you like, are you like not liked in the
no,
ReZero community?
no,
Oh,
no, no.
oh.
Really?
Oh man, Hamil, man, let me tell you, this guy's streak of hatred, it goes back before ReZero. Let me tell you what the MHA community did to this guy first. Man. Man, Hamil, let me tell you, back when MHA season 5 was going on, okay, I'm sure you may have heard through the grapevine that season 5 had some rough patches, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, even with everybody having criticism at the time, Asa was one of the people that was very fair with it. He wasn't going around berating animators or anything like that, but it was certainly not the presentation that we were gassing it up to be, especially with My Villain Academia being the very unique arc, given that it was the only arc in Shonen for a very long time, if not ever, that has dedicated time solely to the villains away from their main character. And at the time, the conflict was everybody felt like they should just respect the animators and not complain, and it was like, well, no, we can respect them, but we can also complain. And Asa was crucified. People would say
Kick my
how he
ass,
was like
man.
this MHA hater. They would say like how the Asa group chat, because I was in that group chat, but like it wasn't like a group chat of bad things. We would just talk constructively,
No,
you know what I
dude.
mean,
The Acid
among each
GC was
other.
about my Discord, man. They call it a group chat
Oh
with like
yeah, yeah,
1,400
and
people in it.
yeah, and it's like you couldn't really like you if anytime Asa spoke about MHA, it was always a thing. And then at the same time, Asa was also working on MHA retrospectives, where he would go through the entire series in detail, talk about the goods, the bad, the lows, the sales. Being as integral as possible. And even if he were to speak positively on a good portion of the story, if the minute it goes negative, it just flipped. People just lost it. And I
I
sat
got
there
my
for the
ass beat, man.
longest
Right.
time, and I was like, what is wrong with you people? And imagine when the manga wrapped up and he did his final retrospective. He let it go. You know what I mean? He just didn't want to speak on the final season, because the one time he did speak on the final season, which was Bakugo's episode, they still crucified him, and he said it was a good episode. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't do
Mm.
anything. And then ReZero was just, I think they don't like him. What? Because like what? The way you discuss cut content and everything, and
Well, they
have some.
think that I use cut content as like a cudgel against the anime. When I don't think I've. Well, sometimes I say like, "Oh, I wish this was left in," but like, I'm just like talking about it. That's all. It's like all I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's
How it
totally
is. Like,
fine to say like, hey, this was cut, but I feel like they should have put it in.
yeah,
Is this
yeah.
like,
And I felt that way
that
last
doesn't
week.
seem crazy?
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, people. Obviously, with light novels for anime onlys, it's always going to come down to what they don't know won't hurt them. But at the same time, when you look at how people discuss these stories and how passionate they are, you never know what they would have preferred in a episode, or may not even care for it at all if it was cut. But you never know until you tell them. And it's not like me learning about cut content has hurt my enjoyment for ReZero at all. Sometimes I'm like, it's a little disappointing. Last week I wanted the cut content with this Beatrice emotional scene to, some more emotional context to be in the episode. It didn't make it. I get it. You know what I mean? Light novel, it's a lot of words, and obviously you guys have the final say, which is episode runtime, deciding what makes it and what doesn't. You know what I mean? So I get it. You know what I mean? It happens, and I expected a lot more with light novels, especially because it's kind of like how much
Yeah.
of a chapter do you guys want to put in an episode, and like how do you want to depict it, how long you want to depict it. You know what I mean? And then of course you got to watch out for that episode runtime. I know ReZero sometimes has extended episodes and all that good stuff, but more than most, you guys have standard runtime, so stuff gets cut, and that's okay. But you know how it is, man. The internet, people.
Yeah, Caper points out I got called an Ellen elitist on Ice's Twitter post advertising the stream like an hour ago. So that's
Oh man,
that's generally the vibe, unfortunately.
yeah.
I see. It's like,
So
it's just like, I guess, criticism, right? Like if
Yeah.
you if you say something is, maybe could have been done, or like any sort of criticism, and then that doesn't go well with, like, I guess, like fandom. I don't know how
yeah.
to say it, like fandom
No,
culture.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're right.
where
That's
usually
exactly
it's
it.
more like it's I guess it's kind of more, you're supposed to be positive all the
Yep.
well, quote
Yeah.
unquote positive. What your definition of
Yeah,
it
yeah.
may change, but like it's better. I guess it's more kind of like you're more in if you're like being excited or like positive about stuff.
Yeah.
And if you don't go along with that, then it can be seen as maybe you might be seen as like a deviant in a way or something like this, right?
Yeah,
I'm a
like you're
hater,
trying to
man.
be different. Yeah, like you're trying to be different.
I'm a hater, man.
You literally cannot critique JJK. Like that is the point where we are at now with JJK's anime.
JJK
And
sounds horrifying, bro.
yeah, and it's like this season, in my opinion, had some of the more experimental, ways to go about it. You had the Maki episode, you had the scene with Yuji and Hikari talking, and they kind of had it on one shot with character animation and acting throughout the episode, and kept it on that one shot. You know what I mean? You have a lot, yeah, and then you have some stuff with Megumi and Reggie, obviously. You have a lot more experimental stuff, and you can't say that you would have preferred it to go on a different way because it's Goso directing it. You know what I mean? And Goso is the guy who changed JJK forever with Shibuya. And every time you complain about JJK now, it's you're just trying to be different. God forbid you have a profile picture of another shonen anime adaptation, because the first thing they're going to
Dude.
say is said fan can't be talking about my JJK anime, right? Like, God forbid an MHA fan say anything about JJK. I swear to God, it's just going to be Nakamura couldn't even come around. You know what I mean? It's just like, Jesus, man. Like,
This is
we're
why
losing
having the dog
recipes here.
profile picture makes me invulnerable, bro. I can't take damage.
That's just how it is, man. That's exactly how it is. It's unfortunate, but we've just gotten very, very, very sensitive now, and it only gets even worse when you have like fandoms that are either hypersensitive, like, or not hypersensitive, like either like the Witch Hat fandom, or hyper like active like JJK. You know what I mean? You just can't do it. You're gonna get something spun on you without even people trying to get to know you or understand you. You're gonna be called an elitist. You're gonna be called just slander without being able to fight back. People are gonna say these lies based off you have a server. You know what I mean? Like Asa's experience is why I don't have a server. I'm not dealing with it, man. I can't deal with the Yozakura allegations, man. Like, leave me alone, bro. Leave me alone. I
You're
just
such a
can't do it,
happy
bro.
and positive, fun little guy, though. I don't think that would happen to you, man.
Hey, man. I mean, you say that and then it does, and I'm like, well, you know,
I don't know how
my
anyone could
biggest
ever
fear.
be mad at you, man. It's like not possible. You do eat Chick-fil-A, so that's like a mark against your character.
Okay,
And Jimmy
okay,
John's.
okay. Listen.
I feel like there's like some cultural differences too, depending on what part of the world you're in.
Mhm.
It kind of affects like how much you're into that kind of culture. Because
Yeah,
Japanese fans, they don't. It's very different. Like it's totally different.
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't think
it
Japanese
is.
fans. Obviously there's people are otakus and stuff,
Mhm.
but Japanese otakus, they like when something really means a lot to them. They, I think they're more likely to keep it to themselves.
Yeah.
But in other parts of the world, if you're like an otaku about something, you want to like spread it. Like you want everybody to like know about it or like it as much as you do.
Mhm.
I think there's like a pretty big difference there in terms of like audiences. In the same way,
Oh yeah.
Japanese people, like if they're like regarding criticism about works, it doesn't like get too. I mean, obviously sometimes it gets like kind of weird and heated, but most of the
Mhm.
time people just talk about like episodes or shows in a way that's like very tame. It's just like, oh, I
Mhm.
love this part of the new episode, or it's like, oh man, didn't really like the episode because of this. But like nobody would like, or I mean, it does happen, but for the most part,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
aren't like at each other's throats or like throwing out other anime to like kind of bash on.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely a night and day difference here. Because, I mean, every season, all year long, no matter what it is, man. You have a good episode, and then One Piece drop a good one, and it's like, oh, One Piece is the best, everything else sucks, and then it's. I mean, I feel like just the closer it is to shonen, if not shonen anime, the more aggressive it is. Because again, I don't see this with like comedy anime, romance anime. It's always just a good warm time. But for some reason, I just don't. And I feel like it's just because we entered the era of JJK, MHA, and Black Clover being in the same space. And fandoms were like, well, no, actually, my new gen anime is actually better. Well, no, UG's are better MC than Asta, but no, actually, you know what I mean? It just spiraled, and it got to the point where it's like, fine, you don't believe me? Let that better adaptation be the winner. And of course, we obviously know, the highs and lows of all these different series over the years, but it's just gotten so aggressive, man. But what can you do, man? What can you do?
I definitely got that impression of like Japanese fandoms too. They're a lot more reserved in how they talk about things, or like maybe not reserved is the right word, but they're much more willing to speak on the positives, or like maybe more willing to do like compliment sandwiches, and like the meat in the middle is like really thin and like really
It feels like they're not like so like attached.
Yeah.
Like they view the media as like it's a work.
Yeah.
It's not really, a part of me, but it's like a piece of art that I consume.
Yeah.
And that's my relationship with it. But
Yeah.
I think for some people elsewhere, like in other parts of the world, it's like it's almost the work also almost like becomes a part of your identity in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it means so much to you that it's kind of like an extension of yourself.
Yep.
And that can maybe lead to perhaps taking things a little more personally in a way.
No, I completely agree with you. I completely agree. That's exactly how it is. Also, I wanted to say, I already said this before. Your drawing for the episode was awesome, fantastic.
Thank you.
Here you go, chat.
Oh, I did another part in the episode too.
Oh, that's right. We didn't talk about that. I forgot.
So aside from the like the parts where Anastasia gets cut and then to the black screen before the second loop, or not the second loop, but the loop. That was one section. And then the other section that I worked on was in the the arena with the Headless Horse King. From the moment that Subaru starts running up until where they get knocked, the three of them, him, Ram, and Patrash, get knocked to the other side of the arena. Up until there. So that's the other part that I worked on. I needed a lot of help on that part because it was very heavy. So like almost all of that is like thanks to the colossal efforts of second key animators. Thank God. They actually saved my life.
There's like a lot of moving parts there, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
It's just heavy. Especially the running cut. Oh my God. Yeah.
It's great.
The second key animator I put that through, like I'll be forever in that person's debt. Like literally it's full animation, and it's like 70, like over 70 drawings of just Subaru.
You guys did a fucking fantastic job. I love the running sequence. It's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. That was it. But well,
I think we're out of steam, huh? I think we're out of steam now.
Yeah. Dude, I need to go cook dinner. It's going on 7 p.m. My parents are like, yo, where's the food? I'm getting cooked. So, gentlemen, I'm going to take my leave here. Hamil, it was an absolute pleasure. I appreciate you coming out today. I hope that we get to speak again, maybe towards the end of the core, before we transition into core 2. Please keep up the good work, man, and I will be rooting for you on the sidelines, my guy.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you, and I'd love to come back if the time frame allows it at some point.
Absolutely,
that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. All right, chat. It was a pleasure. I will see you guys around in the server next week. Asa, later, man.
Later, man. Guy plugging at World Trigger instantly was crazy, man. He saved it for like the last, but like that's crazy agenda. I appreciate it though. I respect him.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, he's firing his shot. Well, Hamil, I cannot thank you enough for coming. It's fucking awesome that you came, and it's also awesome that you came at like what 6 in the morning there or something crazy like that.
It's okay for me. I try to get up at around this time anyways.
Okay, well at least that worked
So
out.
it's not too crazy.
The work that you guys have been doing has been fantastic. The Anastasia stuff that you worked on will forever follow me for the rest of my life.
Good. That's what I want to hear.
And I cannot wait to see what you guys cooking for the future, because without getting into specifics, because it's anime only, for better or for worse, you guys got some crazy shit you got to grapple with for the future.
Yeah, we've still got a lot of work to do, but it's gonna be the second half is gonna be very, very exciting.
I can't wait, man. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it, and I'm looking forward to having you back on the stream one day.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's
Oh,
a
dude.
pleasure.
It is not a problem at all. When you asked me to come on the stream, in my mind I was like, there's no way, dude. I should be asking you. I was like, fuck yeah, you can come on the stream. Oh my
Huh?
god.
Nah, it's fun to do like this kind of stuff. Or
Yeah.
to like just talk about, you know, the anime or anime in
Mhm.
general. And I need a break every once in a while, man. This
I
shit's
bet,
tough.
dude. I bet, dude. Everyone in chat is saying thank you as well. They're all so united for once.
Yeah. By the way, who did the art of like my profile picture in the
That was
stream?
Caper. He's like my channel artist, pretty much, more or less.
That's awesome. I never like visualized the actual costume in full,
Yeah.
but that's a pretty good rendition of it.
You want to send you the whole thing?
I think I was more like I'm thinking it would be like a suit, like a
Mm.
modern day suit, but like the more wizardy stuff is kind of cool. Like the cloak.
That's how he sees you on the inside, man. He sees you as a wizard for your wonderful work.
Oh, that's stop it.
He says, I was spending a bunch of time wondering how the fuck to do the costume.
It's good. It turned out great. I like it.
Yeah, I'll send it to you after the stream, man.
Oh hell yeah.
It was great talking to you. I'll see you again, hopefully in the future.
Yep.
Alright, peace, man.
All right, peace out.
What a great stream, man. What a great stream. Can you guys believe that we had Hamil on? Is that not fucking crazy? Is that not insane? Holy shit. Let me just send him the thing now before I forget. There we go. Smiling the whole time? Hell yeah, man. Thanks for making it happen. I mean, dude, I didn't really do much. He asked me to come on, and I was like, yeah. Obviously, you can come on the stream. Like, holy shit, man. It'd be awesome to get someone else from the crew on. There's definitely, issues with that. Primarily because I don't know how many of them speak English. Like, Hamil's... He might be one of the few. I hope you guys enjoyed it, though. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to our silly little conversations. And listening to Hamil speak about the process and stuff like that. Keyhow next. Yeah, dude. I'm gaslighting everyone. She actually DM'd me and said she's coming on. She totally did not say no. He just wanted to talk to someone with actual constructive criticisms and opinions. Dude, he said I have no agenda. I beat the fucking allegations, man. Let's go. I beat the allegations. It's crazy. It's crazy that, like, in the same week I got Mother's Basement and Hamil. That is so insane to me. You see the replies to Ice's tweet about your stream? I did, yeah. It's really funny. Gotta have top A next? Top A is never doing it. Gonna try to get Vincent whenever he works on an episode next? I don't know, man. He might tell me to go fuck myself. And that'd be valid. Holy fuck, Mother's Basement replied? Captain America, waking up in New York City? Yeah. Never say never, I bet you didn't expect Hamil either. No, I haven't expected anyone who said that they'll come on the stream to come on the stream. It's funny, dude. Mother's Basement and Hamil were like the two that I was least certain that I could ever get on stream. But they're the ones I got. Keyhow was the one I was like most confident in, and by most confident, by the way, the number's not high. The percentage is not high. But it was still like the biggest number, and that's the one I got declined on. Roll a nat 20. That is the way I described it when I got Mother's Basement. I was like, dude, I hit the craziest nat 20 of my fucking life. I was in the Discord to see the reply, but last I saw it looked stonewalled as hell. He replied 20 hours later. You were curious. Why were you most confident on Keyhow? Because she seems, well, not to say that everyone else doesn't, but she was like the most outwardly, like motivated by ReZero, and she would like reply to random ReZero shit. So I was like, well, that's gotta have like a 5% chance of working. Whereas Mother's Basement and Hamil were like, well, Hamil was not even a consideration, because I never thought it would happen. So like the thought never even entered my mind. Mother's Basement was like 0.1%. That was like me throwing a free throw from the moon. $20 hours is not bad. I think he was doing a background check, man. I can't prove it. I would love to ask him that when I finally do like actually talk to him. I'd be like, did you have to do a background check on me? Oh man, that's so funny. What are chances of getting Garkar on? They're pretty significant, man. We can have you for an episode sometime, Garkar, if you want. I think it'd be fun. Yeah, I was getting scanned. Which I understand, it's valid. He will start singing, and we will listen. I think it was a good stream, though, man. I really enjoyed talking to Hamil. He's a great guy. It's so awesome to know that he did the Anastasia stuff, too. Because that shit is crazy. That shit is so crazy. And the running sequence in the arena is really cool. Famous TLer and YouTuber Garkar? Yeah, dude. Believe it or not. Did Aridna reverting to Anastasia get cut or no? I don't think it did, no. That's so W. I know, dude. Got to see Keyhow perform the new ending live, and that's awesome, dude. Hell yeah. Kinoshita is such a fire discovery too. Danger, are you satisfied? Are you satisfied with the Hamil conversation? I'm full. Jamilian would go crazy as a guest. That guy does not even make ReZero videos anymore, man. He moved on with his life. Ellen Historian was in chat earlier. I know, and some fucking loser was talking about how I was talking shit. Well, all I said is every time I see Ellen Historian, he gets his ass beat. I don't remember who that was, but fuck you. I enjoy your media videos. Did you do any school for it, or is it just a passion project? Passion project, sorry. I'm a dropout. My bad. Gotta try and get a kid nut? I don't know, man. I don't really know enough about a kid nut. I think Anna stabbing Subaru in the shoulder was web novel, yeah. I got beef with Ellen Historian because he consumes with slop MTLs and Jake summaries. I mean, that's fair. I didn't even know they made content. Yeah, Jamilian used to be a ReZero YouTuber, but he didn't like Arc 7, I don't think. So he quit. I sent it to him, Caper. The full one you sent me. Are we voting for a new item in the background, by the way? I don't know if I have the energy. Maybe if my stimulant was still active. It feels like a high energy action. I follow you because you are based and, as we confirmed, unbiased. True. Get Subaru English voice actor? I've been considering it, yeah. I just need to do my due diligence before having some guests on. That's all. We should have asked Hamil to add something to the office. Fuck. That's a good fucking idea, dude. Yeah, that's a good shout, man. Too late now. I can't go back. Chiplock did a couple Q&A sessions with me a few years back when Season 2 was airing. Yeah, no, he seems very, like, willing and amicable with the community. Like, there's definitely a big chance he would say yeah. But I would probably... I feel bad talking about it on stream. Because I don't want to perpetuate something that might be untrue. But I have heard things about Sean Chiplock that I would like to confirm, you know what I mean, before I platform someone. So, like, I just need to lock in and do that at some point. Sorry if it's a personal question, when did you start balding? My hair started going when I was 22. But when I was 27, it, like, rapidly accelerated. Have you started bleach yet? Nope. And I just want to be clear about, like, Sean Chiplock, by the way. I don't know if it's true or not, and that's the reason why I haven't, asked to have him on or anything yet. It's just, I would rather, like I said, do my due diligence and clarify who I'm bringing on stream, you know what I mean? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much will I enjoy Volume 4 of Bocce? Totally not looking up what happens in Volume 4. I don't, hang on. Hang on. It's pretty good, man. I think you're gonna like it. Sorry for personal question, but how did you become so based? I wasn't exactly like a chud when I was a teenager. I was just kind of stupid. And I liked edgy humor. And then the 2016 election came around, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta lock in. Because I'm like 18 now. That's like the gist of it. You watching any other anime this season? No, but I kind of do. I kind of do want to. For those that don't know, I finally got my medication for my ADHD that has ruined my life for like 5 years. So like, if anyone's wondering why videos have like been coming out every 2 weeks, it's because I'm fucked up. But now that I have my funny stimulants, I've pretty much made like 4 videos since I got them. So it's working out pretty good, man. How was the ult today? Kinda hard to tell because I was so focused on other stuff. I got the episode video done though. I felt locked in as fuck. And I, well, did as much work as I could on the episode 4 video already. Obviously without having fucking watched it. Is there any side effects? It's definitely an appetite suppressant for me. Which kinda sucks. Sometimes my heart rate gets elevated. Like when I started the stream today, my heart was beating pretty hard. It's probably a mixture of like, oh shit, I'm about to have Hamil on stream, and also the fact that I'm on a stimulant. That probably didn't help either. And sometimes my mouth gets dry. But other than that, no, not really. Yeah, I know that like ADHD medication is a lot harder to get in other places. It's changed my life though, so maybe the one W about being an American. How do you prep for an episode you haven't watched though? I would love to answer that question, but I don't want to reveal my trade secrets about my like production pipeline. I know it's a boring answer, I'm sorry. Contrary to what the IMDb ReZero weirdo has to say, Witch Hat Atelier is great. Def recommend. I read some of it. I didn't stop reading it because I don't like it. But, I thought it was good. But I also had ADHD, or I still do have ADHD, so I stopped reading it, that's all. That's really the only reason for it. It's the same with Hunter x Hunter too. When I sends you the episode file early, dude, that'd make my job so much easier. But no, that is not. That's not part of the process. Do you ship Julius with Subaru though? I mean, no, not really. I don't really ship anyone with anyone in like any series I watch, so I just think it's funny because people come in here and they'll be like, "What the fuck's the flag about?" They'll get like really mad about it. I'm like, damn, bro, chill. You ship Aldebaran with being happy one day? Yes. You see the new ending? I did. We all have ADHD, though, says the most neurotypical guy you'll ever meet, unfortunately. We're all a little ADHD. Sometimes I put my key somewhere and I forget. Silly me. What do you think about the ending showing the 400-year-old gang? It's cool. You don't even ship Amelia and Subaru? Meh. How did you start to get the suspicion of having ADHD? I think it really started a few years ago. If I was smarter, maybe I would have noticed it sooner. But it's when like my YouTube channel really slowed down. I'm sure like, well, I don't know how many of you guys in here even actually fucking watch me. But that was when I was like, oh shit, something was wrong with me. Cause like I could not do any work, and it wasn't that I didn't want to. It's that I felt physically incapable of doing such. I was like, that's not good. And also, I'd always go through these phases of like intense hyperfixation. I wanted to do an owl cosplay like a year or two ago, and I worked out 5 days a week, really intensely, for it. And then one day I was just like, I don't care any. Well, I care still, but I don't want to do it anymore. And I was like, what the fuck, man? So when that happened, I was like, dude, I should really see a fucking psychiatrist, man. That was not right. And both of the psychiatrists that I've seen, it's really funny. Both of the psychiatrists I've seen, when they first meet me, they're like, well, I'm not really thinking ADHD, but you know, we can look into some stuff. And then by the second meeting, they're like, okay, it's grim for you. And I was like, yep. Yep. Did they charge you a kidney? I had to pay $50 to piss in a cup. And my medication was $20, so no. As long as you got your proper meds, dude. I have no other explanation. When I pop, I call it popping my ult. When I take my medication. Life is like legitimately sunshine and rainbows when it activates. I just sit down and I do work for like 6 hours straight. And then I'll get up and I'll do like every chore in the house. And then I'll come back. And then I'll play Slay the Spire 2 for like 2 hours. And then usually I come back down and I'm back.
My nomination for a non-shut Anituber is nearly on red. He has a strict anime-only policy, so he doesn't learn about cut content or anything.
Yeah, that's why I don't think I'd really be able to talk to him. Because I think his policy is like a little too strict. And I feel like I'd accidentally like piss him off. Oh, there's a second one. Shit, my bad.
It gave me a new perspective on the anime because by really digging into what is there, he does incredible analysis even with his limited info.
Yeah, that's what I've heard about him too. I'll tentatively recommend him. I don't know if he's like maybe deep down an evil hating person, but hopefully not. You guys should give him a watch at least. I've seen like one video of his and I was like, this guy seems well spoken and smart. I'm no medical expert, but what does piss in a cup tell you about your neurological conditions? They want to make sure that I'm not abusing drugs before they give me amphetamines. So, I had to pay $50 for that. Good news, guys. I wasn't abusing drugs. I beat the allegations. I also got my blood work done, but that was free. I was in his chat though. I can also see obvious Ellen readers giving theories and Loki spoiling him. I have seen, not because I've been to his chat, but because people will post screenshots from his chat in my Discord and they'll be like, LARPer detected. It's always really funny. It happens like every episode. Someone will post a screenshot and be like, this guy definitely fucking reads, by the way. beat the meth head and agenda allegations? True, man. I guess I'm a meth head now if you think about it. I am on amphetamines. Prescribed, okay, no one get any ideas. It is prescribed. I think high-key the funniest part about being on the medication, I kind of already said that. I said it makes life sunshine and rainbows, and I seriously mean that. Because, like, when it really kicks in, I can't feel rage, dude. I have no enemies when it's like, when I'm peeking on it, I have no enemies at all. It's kind of awesome. Someone will say some, like, stupid shit, and usually I just, like, time them out and be like, you're dumb. But I'm like, that's okay. They can say whatever they want, man. They are free. Sunshine and Rainbows enough to work on Arcade Summary? Yes. Yes, it is Sunshine and Rainbows for that. Oh, man. Alright, well, we could probably call the stream here, huh? I appreciate everyone coming out. Thank you everyone for stopping by. Thank you everyone for coming by for the Hamil section. I think it was awesome. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. I post videos that aren't ReZero sometimes as well. But I also post episode videos every week. I also stream every week. I want to try and have more guests on in the future. But I only have so much clout, man. I'm already punching above my weight class. It's hard. It's really tough. Thanks everyone for coming out. I appreciate it. No cut content. Talk with Jordan. This stream